Tonight, it'll be noisy because Budweiser will present the Ford Houston Food Bank Truck and Tractor Pull World Championships. Hello, everyone. I'm John Paul Della Camera. Alongside me is Mike Galloway, and behind us is Bigfoot. That's only part of the attraction tonight in the final event of 1987.
Well, we're just about ready for monster truck competition, and Jim Kramer, driver of Bigfoot. Jim, what's it going to take to win this competition tonight?
It's going to be fierce here in the World Finals. I tell you, it's a heck of a course out here. The trucks are starting at the base of the first hill, accelerating over the first hill, coming up to a pyramid of cars. We're talking 12-foot high, 40-foot long, coming off the pyramid of cars, hopefully very fast or quickly, hitting the second hill, making a sharp corner either right or left, depending what track you're on, getting as straight as you can, and then barreling down the straightaway, hitting 6 cars, over 6 cars, and across the finish line. This could be very, very exciting.
Jim, what will the drivers be thinking about when they make the curve?
The curb is going to be one of the really toughest parts of the track. It's you've only got about 36 usable feet. If you stretch it out, you might be able to get 40. That's really tight for a monster truck. Drivers have to be, of course, accelerating, coming over the hill, coming to almost a complete stop, making the corner, get back on the gas, get straight, like I said, because it's very important to be straight for that last set of cars, Mike. The last set of cars are going to make you or break you here.
Well, Jim, I'm going to take you upstairs, and we're going to watch the monster truck competition upstairs, and we'll be back with the battle of the monster trucks in just a moment.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Houston Astrodome. I'm John Paul Della Camera, along with Mike Galloway, and also joining us, Jim Kramer, who represents Bigfoot. What we're about to talk about is the monster truck competition, so I'm going to make way and let the experts talk about it, starting with you, Mike.
I think it's going to be great competition tonight for the simple reason that we're running this pyramid of cars, and this is the first time we've seen this in a dome stadium like this. Jim, how tough is the pyramid of cars?
Well, you take the whole track, Mike, just sitting here looking over it, I'd give it a degree of difficulty about number 8 in a 10 scale. You got to start off with a jump, run about 60 feet under acceleration, hit this pyramid of cars. Cars are roughly 12 foot tall, about 40 foot long. You got to climb those cars, and the first 2 runs are going to be difficult because it's going to be hard to do. Get those cars crushed right for the subsequent runs. Now, once you're over that pyramid, hit the ground, run about another 60 feet, another jump. You have to charge the second jump, immediately put on the brakes, try to make either hard right or left turn, depending what track you're on. Then race down and hit these 6 cars for the ending, and you've got to hit those cars and under speed and hit them straight. If you don't, you're liable to see monster trucks careen to the left or to the right up on 2 wheels or whatever.
Now it's time for the monster competition. Now we're going to take a look at Bigfoot first, and Rich Hauser will be doing the driving.
Off and running with Bigfoot. Rich charging the cars. Now here's the big tough part, over this pyramid. And he's doing it. He's got about a truck length on the Duraliner Giant over the last hill, getting some air. Here's the tough part of the course, according to Jim Kramer. He makes a tight turn, and now he's got the straightaway down the front chute with Bigfoot. He's got to line up and hit the cars on the run. He's got a big lead up in the air, over. It's going to be a Bigfoot victory in the first round. Duraliner Giant runs into problems, but Bigfoot takes it home. Duraliner Giant standing it right up on the rear tires. As he charges the cars, a true competitor. He knows he's out of the race, but he puts on quite a show for the people in the Duraliner Giant. So the Duraliner Giant falls to an early elimination as Bigfoot takes home a victory. Now, this is going to be a good race. This is Excalibur against the Virginia Giant. And this Excalibur truck has really been charging hard. Mike Nichols up against the Virginia Giant, Theo Wilson. I don't believe I could pick a favorite on this.
They ran together about 2 weeks ago, and I was there. Excellent run. Excalibur just, he's a little bit slower, say, on the turns, but excellent on the cars. This man hits the cars wide open.
I've seen him do that a number of times, and if there's any way to go over him, he will go over them very quickly.
Now you take Theo Wilson, a man of experience here. He can do it all. He can hit the cars, he can make the corners. He's a very good competitive truck. Never count Theo out.
Theo's always tough at the Virginia Giant truck as they're staging him up to the line. The winner of this will advance to second round.
The idea here is, Mike, is make the best run you can, keep your truck together, and keep it running for the next round, because you don't win a race, you're eliminated.
Theo's got an early lead, but right, this is what's going to tell the tale. Excalibur almost goes over, but he hits a good hole shot on the Giant. Deal Wilson is putting on a charge, a good quick turn. Deal making a very tight turn. Now it's a straight shot at the cars. Who's it going to be? Deal Wilson is lined up. Deal seems to be in good shape. Watch out, Excalibur's making a charge right at the last minute. It's Deal Wilson. Deal Wilson really putting on a good drive. I think Deal used his head pretty much on that pass. Well, here's where the Virginia Giant leads on him and heads down the straightaway. Here's where he's got a lead. Good smooth jump.
Really smooth. Notice he's coming down. The tire speed's still up. Maintaining control. About to get on the gas one last time to make that finish line.
Very good job. Deal Wilson advances the second round with the Virginia Giant. Fred Schaefer on the far side in barefoot. Of course, the ever-awesome Don Maple on the near side. Both of these trucks are quite a bit heavier than some of the other trucks.
Yes, they are. They weigh in about anywhere 15 to 18,000 pounds. But then again, they have 1,000 to 1,200 horsepower, where a lot of these other trucks you just saw run only 700, 800 horsepower. It's hard to control horsepower, especially on a track like this. You got to get on the gas, get off of it, try to maintain a smooth run. And your engine is so responsive. You hit those cars wrong, and you're going straight up in the air instead of making forward progression. You've got to try to keep that motor under control, and we're going to see who's going to be the master of that fact.
Cars are looking a little worse for wear, especially on this pyramid, but that's kind of good for the monster truck drivers, isn't it? When they get them crushed down, it makes them easier to go over.
It does, but you notice the pyramid in the far lane is getting a definite lean toward this side of the building, and that tends to throw the truck off to the left. The last racer came off to the left.
This is a close one. Fred Schaefer's having problems, as you mentioned, controlling that horsepower. Look out, Fred Schaefer up on two wheels. Up on two wheels with barefoot, and he's still got a problem. Easing over. I think Fred has really kind of stunned himself. He thought he was going to go over. It's a tight turn. Fred Schaefer makes the turn. He just comes for the cars, making a good, strong pass. Schaefer taking out a victory as Don Maple just really puts a lot of air underneath the Sampson truck. Well, right here, he's made the turn and he's headed for the final set of cars. And you can tell Fred's really got his mind on it.
He's straightened, like I said, a 1,200 horse engine. All he has to do is just feather that gas. He's going to fly over and he's going to make the win. That's a nice flight, Fred.
We're about ready to start the second heat of competition as Bigfoot gets ready for another go at it. And it's going to be who? The Virginia Giant.
Virginia Giant coming up against Bigfoot. And, of course, Kramer, here's the situation. You got two fine drivers and two good monster trucks and a close race.
Well, you've got Deal Wilson, a fine driver. Rick Hooser, definitely a good man at Bigfoot 4. Wilson has definitely got the worst lane. He's got that pyramid of cars leaning on him. He's got a right hand, a blind hand side turn to make. Rich, on the other hand, has a good pyramid, has a good left-hand turn, can cut it sharper. This is going to be an exciting race all the way around, but I think the foot truck should take this one.
Well, we'll know in just a moment as they stage the trucks for the second round. And, of course, the winner of this will go once again as they just keep eliminating till we have a monster team. It's close. It's very close. They're side by side. Bigfoot takes a little bit of a lead right there, but it's Deal Wilson. It's Deal Wilson coming on strong. Wilson over the hill. It's going to have to be made up if it can be made up on the jump. Rick Hooser swings wide. Wilson has got it. Wilson is right there. Let's see if can he pull it out. Hooser makes the jump. He pulls it out. Rick Hooser pulls it out. He really put the drive on the truck. He was beat by several car lengths until he went to that last set of cars. Jim Kramer, in that last set of cars, the horsepower and the driving came alive in safety.
Rich had a little bit of trouble on his turn. Once he got straightened out, like I said, you've got a long straightaway, and if you are straight, you can use that acceleration, use that speed, hit those cars, fly off, and win the race. Deal Wilson definitely put the pressure on him. I know he had Rich worried. Rich did a fine job, really fine job.
Rich really had to drive hard for that victory, and he pulled it out, as you said, did a great job. Shows that he is a man under pressure. He's setting on the line looking for his next
And take Neil Wilson, making the best of a bad situation, the worst pyramid, the hard turn, and still almost won the race. That's experience for you.
That truly is experience and a great job on the part of Neil Wilson. Well, Rick Hoosier has come around and parked on the line, going back at it immediately. He'll go back to back. He will come up against Bigfoot, against Barefoot. This ought to be quite a race. Fred, as you mentioned, in the far lane, the little bit of problem, and Fred has got to be going through his mind right now what happened on that pyramid of cars just a moment ago.
Oh, it definitely does. This could very well happen again. If Fred can lead the cars a little bit to the right, I think he can come off that pyramid a lot sooner.
There it is. Hoosier still after him. It's a close race. Hoosier trying to jump him. Barefoot really out of the lead up over the hill. Now, this is where he won it before. It's a tight race. It's tied up. They are just even. Barefoot will not let up either one of them. Hoosier's going to go for it. Hoosier is going for it. Can he do it? Can he do it? Oh, my heavens. That was a very, very close race. An action-packed race. It's a photo finish. We're going to look at it. This is the last set of cars, and here is the finish high in the air. Barefoot is leading it right there, but I believe that Rick passes him right here. The landing is so critical.
Bigfoot actually passed him in the air. Fred was on the cars first, but he had lost his forward momentum. He didn't charge the cars fast enough. On the other hand, Rick had so much speed going when he hit the cars, his speed never stopped. His momentum carried him ahead of Fred while they were flying in the air over the cars. Great run.
A very good run, and they have declared Bigfoot the winner. It was a photo finish, and Rick Hoosier has been declared the winner of that heat. What a race. And here is the Virginia Beach Beast. Watch this wild animal go to work.
Mike, I think I'd love to ride with the man just one time and see what it feels like. Track the team feels like.
22,000 pounds. Watch it turn. This thing is just awesome. Of course, it steers with steering like a bulldozer, two-stick steering, and he does not, he just destroys the cars as he flies over them. Look out. He took a hard dive there as he nosed into the side of the car. This is some machine. The Virginia Beach Beast. That's Bill Townsend's ride. The 73 Blazer mounted on an M4 18-ton tank. It has a blown 454 motor with an automatic transmission, and it weighs over 21,000 pounds. It is absolutely unbelievable. Predator carburetors, and the Virginia Beach Beast is something to see.
Well, there's another challenge to take place, and it's going to be Barefoot actually going up against the tank. Two totally different type of vehicles.
Well, this is going to be some race. This is my first time to see the rubber-tired up against the track vehicle. The maneuverability of the track and the power. Let's see if he can pull it off. Barefoot definitely has it covered. Fred Schaefer says, come on, let's go for it. And Fred Schaefer is just eating up the track vehicle. He makes the turn. The beast is all over it. Fred, all he has to do is keep it straight and go over the car. Watch out, Fred. Watch out, Fred. He made it. Barefoot in the challenge. Beat the beast. And beats him
handily.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. Fine run by Fred Schaefer. I'm glad Fred got this close lane. Definitely gave him advantage over the cars. The Beast even had trouble on the awkward cars on the other side.
We're going to watch this. This is where the Beast, I really think, has some problems. This is right at the corner when he goes over the hill.
He's up the hill, way high, his front end comes down. Actually dozed the front end of the machine right into the dirt, lost speed, makes an excellent turn on the rebound though, Mike. Excellent turn, trying to get around, but this time Fred is already around the corner, going for the finish line. Excellent run by Fred Schaefer.
Normally home to the Houston Astros and the Houston Oilers, but tonight home to the Budweiser U.S. Hot Rod Truck Pull Fall Championships, featuring the Battle of the Monster Trucks. Hi again, everybody. I'm Ken Brew. My partner is Mike Galloway, and we've got pulling left to right tonight all over the dial, including some pretty fair two-wheel drive and monster truck competition.
Well, it's the end of the year. This is the final hook of the season. The Ford Budweiser Points Championships on the line, and Ken, they're going to take out all the stops. It's just going to be go for broke tonight. We've got a good set of monster trucks. Bigfoot's on hand. The new Samson truck is on hand, as well as a lot of other Texas trucks that are here tonight. It's going to be tough. There's 8 of them. It's going to be side by side and over the cars. A lot of fun.
And the best part about it is you don't even have to move because it's all right here tonight on ESPN. The Budweiser U.S. Hot Rod Truck Pull Fall Championships featuring the Battle of the Monster Trucks is brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood Age, for that distinctively clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. For all you do, this Bud's for you. We're back at the Astrodome in Houston. Ken Brew along with Mike Galloway, and this is what they came to see. This is the final act in the play. This is the Battle of the Monster Trucks, and there are 8 of them here tonight. They'll start with the Big Kahuna, and that's not Mike Galloway. That's Norman Myers out of Oklahoma City. Why so many competitors tonight from Oklahoma City? It's amazing. Talk about the format here tonight, Mike. What are these competitors going to be doing?
They'll start on the dirt part of the track, down the track, make a U over the cars, and finish with the finish line.
There's the Big Kahuna. Again, Norman Myers out of Oklahoma City. Good shot of Norman there.
Fuel-injected big block Chevrolet sits underneath the hood of the Big Kahuna. He's not a newcomer to this. He's been racing this truck for quite a while.
They're going side by side, and there on the other side of the track is Four Wheel Crazy. That's Rob Morris from Fort Worth, Texas.
Mark him tough. It's a supercharged Chevrolet motor, 800-plus horsepower, and it's a 1979 Toyota. Predator carburetors, automatic transmission, and it is a dynamite piece. Little Toyota against the big, long wheelbase of the Big Kahuna.
Four Wheel Crazy, estimated value of $75,000. There's the Four Wheel Crazy. To the near side is the Big Kahuna. And they're waiting for the green flag that has not dropped yet.
Putting them on the line and getting them all matched up, side-by-side action. So we find out in a hurry who's going to win this as we line them up and head them down 200 foot of track. And the countdown has started on the green light. It looks like the Kahuna gets out a little bit early. And the Kahuna is on the throttle, and he will go around the flag. So this is where the rear wheel steering comes into play. It's side by side right now. Four Wheel Crazy's got a little bit of a lead. Had to back out of it just a moment. He's up on the cars, flying through the air. Here comes the Kahuna.
Oh, man.
The throttle, and it is Four Wheel Crazy.
Oh, my. Oh, my. As the Big Kahuna is stuck on the pile of Chryslers in the center of the auditorium. But Four Wheel Crazy, Mike, made its move on that turn. We have seen it time and again where these monster trucks, win it or lose it, when they make the turn, it was a nice tight turn for Four Wheel Crazy.
That's a little short wheelbase. Of course, the little Toyota truck is short. But look, here's the Big Kahuna. They've torn the front drive shaft out of it, and the traction bars are hanging down. Now, how do you get a 15,000-pound truck off of a set of crushed cars? Well,
very carefully.
Very carefully, and we've got some equipment here tonight that can remove the Big Kahuna from the crushed cars.
So give race 1 to Four Wheel Crazy and maybe say goodbye to the Big Kahuna. All right, on the near side is Big Toe. That's Ray Perkowski from St. Louis, and he will go up against the modern-day outlaw Buster Guffey from Griffithville, Arkansas. There is the outlaw, 86 Chevy S10, 454, big block engine.
Supercharged big block motor.
Oh, you got to be supercharged when you're sitting on top of all that.
But on this side with the Big Toe, he's got a supercharged Ford motor, and it's neck and neck, but the Toe's got a little bit of a lead. The Toe has got the lead. Let's see if he can make the turn. Buster Guffey is running without planetaries. He's a little bit lighter, but it's a little harder on equipment. Let's see. The Toe is crooked when he hits the car. Straightens out at the last minute. This is going to go down to the finish line.
Oh, my.
Buster Guffey takes it off the side, and Big Toe and Buster Guffey takes out the finish line on the far side.
Just barely for Big Toe, as Guffey made a nice turn around the flag, but Mike seemed to lose a little bit just before he hit the cars.
Couldn't get the back of the truck straightened up. And I'll tell you what, Ray did a great job. He was in trouble coming up to the cars, but at the last minute hit the rear steering and made the adjustment. By the way, the Big Toe, the wrecker, is a fully working wrecker.
Well, it ought to be, because Perkowski in St. Louis owns his own towing company, Superior Towing. And you might as well go with the best if you got it. There it is, Big Toe. Here are At the top of your screen, Bigfoot. That's from St. Louis, Missouri, the legendary Bigfoot, and Rebel's Revenge from Grand Rapids, Michigan is the other.
Ken Keeling driving Bigfoot, this particular Bigfoot truck. And the gentleman out of Grand Rapids is Bill Jones. The Chevrolet versus Ford. Of course, the 87 or Ford truck, supercharged, big motor, and then a Chevrolet on this side. So it's a naturally aspirated Chevrolet against a supercharged Ford. The Rebel would like to make a name for himself, running Foot.
Now, Foot has had so many great drivers, and Keeling getting his turn tonight. He's 31 years old and has been involved in racing for 5 years.
Watch Kenny out of the hole. The Bigfoot covers him. He's got him covered about 2 trucks. Let's see if he can make a turn. Beautiful job.
Nice tight turn.
He's got
Foot.
a tight turn. He's got it.
He's got
easing
it.
around, and the Rebel's in trouble on the turn. Foot doesn't show any mercy.
Oh, man.
Off the cars, nails the throttle. We're home free
No
for
contest.
Bigfoot.
Rebel's Revenge could not make the turn. In fact, that looked like he was going to take out the tractor at center field, but now here he comes around to complete it, but it is all an exercise in futility as Bigfoot has won this heat and has won it hands down. The Monsters continue to roll in just a moment when we come back from the Astrodome in Houston. All right, the 4th heat, bottom part of your screen. That is Larry Garville from Victoria, Texas in the Texas Stomper. And we'll go up against Dan Patrick from Kingston, Ohio in Samson 2. Samson 2, a 1989 Chevy Silverado, 513 engine.
This is only the 3rd time for Dan Patrick to ever drive a monster truck. He's been driving funny cars and dragsters in the pulling world for quite some time. Don't watch that Texas Stomper. I'll tell you what, he's super tough truck. But don't count out Dan Patrick just because he's new at this game. He
Wide
made
turn.
some good
Big
passes.
oh.
Texas Stomper almost puts it over on its side.
we
It's
go.
side by side when they hit the cars. The Stomper is in a little bit of trouble.
Man.
He noses down, pulls it out at the last minute. The Stomper still having trouble shutting it down, and he went in front of the Samson truck. Ooh!
I'll tell you, it looked like Garville was out to make a name for himself.
That is one of the most action-packed races I've ever seen in monster trucks.
Texas Stomper with the win here tonight, and that despite a real wide turn. Watch the turn he makes.
Watch him get real tight on it in the front. At this time, it comes up on its side. We're going to go over to Samson. Dan Patrick makes a good turn, but he looks over and sees what's happening. And here the Stomper, Texas Stomper, has got it straightened out. Watch him, Ken Brew. He's up in the air.
Oh, man.
And, I mean, flying. Then it angles off to the left-hand side. He lands in a little trouble, goes right up on the nose. He looked at the floor of the Astrodome, and then he bounces over the finish line, and it looks like to me he's got stopping problems. Of course, he can't keep it down long enough to shut it off, but he does go on.
All right, so now we move into the 2nd round. And 4x4, the 4-wheel crazy, I should say, is at the top of your screen. And down below, that's Big Toe. They both had won heats before, and now they'll go side by side. There's Big Toe.
Supercharged Ford, supercharged Chevrolet, Toyota, and Ford bodies. The Toe is completely functional, and 4-wheel crazy, well, it showed itself to be very functional early. This ought to be a great race. Big Toe and 4-wheel crazy. Here again, Ken, they are so close, but when they get to the turn, it's going to tell the tale. But the little bitty Toyota truck has got the advantage tonight, a true advantage, and he's going to coast over the car to the finish line.
All kinds of steering problems for Big Toe, and he goes off to the side, and
4-wheel crazy takes a win.
no contest as Big Toe gets hung up in the middle of the pack. Nice driving tonight by Rob Morris out of Fort Worth in 4-wheel crazy. There's Rob. All right, we'll move into yet another round. The Texas Stomper is coming back on the track, and we'll go head-to-head with Bigfoot. Stomper to the top of your screen, Bigfoot down low. Now, Mike, who is that, and what does he have?
That's George, and George is a head pitman for Bigfoot tonight. That's not a walkie-talkie. That is a remote control kill switch. He can kill that truck anywhere in this arena. If the driver was to become incapacitated at any time or be out of control, all George has to do is push the button, and it will shut the engine down and stop the truck. You know, Bob and Marilyn Chandler with the Bigfoot truck, always innovative, and this idea with the remote kill switch is something that needs to be done. It will keep an unfortunate accident from happening if the driver, and I've seen this thing actually work in competition several times, and it's something that all these trucks should be equipped with.
Here comes the green, and here they go.
Kenny's sleeping a little bit. The stomper's out, but he's got foot hammered down. Now, here's this turn we talked about. Kenny's got a tight one. He's got to straighten it out. There's about a half a length in the blue truck. The stomper comes back across. Bigfoot is in the wind.
My!
The stomper truck is going to... I thought he took out the
My!
rotor, but he shut down.
Mike, when we watch the replay, the fans are going to get a chance to see Bigfoot literally leap all 8 cars. I think his front wheel came down on that 8th car. It was just an incredible leap by Bigfoot.
This is driving technique and driving style, and landing that truck so important when you run a pass like this. Kenny's been at it for quite some time and always does a great job, and he is the kind of driver you want to put in your truck.
Now stand by, because we'll be back in a moment. This is it. Winner take all. There's Bigfoot. He'll be to the top of your screen, and 4-Wheel Crazy at the bottom. The winner takes it all.
Here we go.
Crowd is on its feet.
The little truck's got a lead. The little truck has got a lead, and here's the turn. Let's see who comes out on. Kenny has made it. The little truck overshot the turn. Foot is in the air.
Oh, and he'll win.
He's got to nail the throttle, and he does it.
Bigfoot wins it, leaping again over the cars. Mike, as he did in the semifinals, Kenny just leaped over. I mean, it was the power coming over the cars that won it for him.
He had to. He didn't have any choice.
Got an extra special twist here, Mike. We got a camera inside Bigfoot. Now, you think it looks great outside. Where do you see what this looks like inside?
Watch the little 4-Wheel Crazy truck. He has got a lead on Bigfoot right now, approximately a truck length. Now watch the turn. He's made it good all night long, but here he drifts way out of line. He's completely out of shape, and at that time, that's when Kenny Keeling lowers the boom on Bigfoot, and he takes it home to a win. He's parked in 4-Wheel Crazy. Finishes up for a very fine second, and he should be tremendously proud of that.
4-Wheel Crazy is a nice truck, but that guy was better tonight. Ken Keeling, the winner in the battle of the monster trucks. Mike, the more I see these monster trucks, the more impressed I am. They seem to get better and better, not each year, but as each month goes by, we see better and more competition.
It's no doubt the motorsport of the future, and it's got excitement, it's got horsepower, and it takes a lot of skill to ride one of these monster trucks.
And here in the Astrodome on the night of the World Championships, it is time for the battle of the monster trucks. Hello again, everybody. Ken Brew, Mike Galloway, and the monster truck showdown is ready to go. Barefoot, Fred Schaefer's pride and joy from Granite City, Illinois. It's the pride of the Chevy line. Will go up against Taurus. A great-looking truck, Mike. Just a superb-looking truck. Jack Willman from Madison, Illinois has a lot to be proud of.
8,000 pounds of monster truck, ultra light, the lightest monster truck here. Fred Schaefer checking in right around 9,500 pounds on his. So there's 2 lightweight, ultra trick tube trucks that this should be as good a monster truck race as you'll ever see.
Down the track and then over the cars, and here we go.
Schaefer with a little bit of a lead in the turn. Schaefer with a tight turn. Taurus catching up. Taurus is in the lead. Taurus has taken the lead. He's going to open the cars. Taurus with a win.
Taurus wins.
Taurus with a big win. He won it in the turn. Fred had him covered on the straightaway. They went to the turns, and Taurus, nailing the throttle with a tight turn, just absolutely stretched the lead out as they went over the last set of cars.
So Taurus moves to the finals, and this elimination heat will be between Andy Brass and Bigfoot. There it is, the pride of the Ford line. And he'll go up against Mike, just a superb-looking truck, the Texas Stomper from Victoria, Texas, Larry Garville at the wheel. Here we go.
Look at the Bigfoot truck. This is all new. Look at the body roll. Look at the movement in the body that's made to do that. They're extremely close. Extremely close. Andy Bass, though, he kind of takes this one on a fly.
That was no contest.
No, it wasn't. Andy Bass weighing in at about 10,000 pounds. The Texas Stomper, 14,500 pounds. But the movement in the body of the Bigfoot truck is really amazing as how much movement you're getting out of that truck. What the weight is moving around, the way that the truck is transferring the weight. It is built almost identical to a Mickey Thompson off-road type vehicle. That's what they built it for. That's the intention where they got part of the design. Bob Chandler, the owner, the creator of this, built and designed all of it.
Bigfoot, of course, the winner in the heat, comes on the track now to duke it out with Taurus. And this, the finals of the Battle of the Monster Trucks. We have yet to see the tanks. They're coming up. The Monster Trucks have to settle this issue first.
This should be a great race also. Andy Bass sets in this truck. The truck designed the way Andy wanted as far as comfort is concerned. Jack Willman built that one. The shocks on the truck were his own design. They came up with it himself. Bigfoot out of the hole. Good shot on him. Bigfoot with a big lead. Now can Andy Bass bring it out? Andy's in trouble. He's in trouble. Over he goes. Bigfoot has just turned over on the side. Taurus takes a win. Andy Bass, the truck got upside down. It got to leaning bad and rolled over on its side. The truck went over. It's on Andy's side of the truck. Let's see. We've got a shot of it. If we can get, Andy is moving around. He's still strapped in the truck upside down.
You could see it was...
The crew is there.
You could see he had a lot of trouble, Mike, coming around the turn.
Well, he got on the throttle. He tried to drive it out, which is, you know, the normal thing you have to do. Now they're pulling him out of the truck. He has got to be more than a little shaken on that. Bring him out.
He's okay.
Looks to be all right.
And there's so many safety...
He is all right. Look at that.
So many safety features that go into those trucks, and right there, I think, is a prime indication of what could have been a serious injury prevented by the design of the truck and the equipment that he wears. But I know that he has to be upset with what has happened there. That is obviously not in the game plan.
Look at the expression on his face. Andy wants to look at it. Let's take another look at it, Ken. It's definitely worth the other look. Now, here's the shot. Look at the truck transfer the weight. Picks the front end up off the ground. The bars are extended all they can extend. He's got a lead. But here in this area is where he starts to get in trouble. Shuts down. The weight comes back around. Watch him in the turn. It's a tight turn, but you're going to see the left front tire begin to pick up. He does the right thing. He nails the throttle trying to get it to come down. Rolls over to its side and then skids across the track. Well, Taurus goes on. Jack Willman goes on to take a win with that race. But Andy ends up on his side, and Bigfoot now in pieces on the track.
Not that you expect this to happen, but you have to prepare for the inevitable, and this certainly happens from time to time. They practice what to do in case Bigfoot turns over. We have some footage that I want to show you that Bob Chandler has provided for us. All right, we have Ram Tracks and Full Metal Jackets. Mike, there's Ram Tracks, a tank out of Jefferson City, Missouri. Don Van Loo, the driver.
This is a 528 cubic inch Hemi in the other one. This one is the Full Metal Jacket. This is the twin-blown, alcohol-burning Chevrolet. Look at this little truck. I mean, hook and hook hard. Good tight turn is mandatory in this.
Whoa.
Look at this. They're amazingly close. It's in the lead. The Dodge is in the lead as they spin the other tank out. They spun out Full Metal Jacket. And that was all that was needed for Ram Tracks. But Ken, he was in the lead before they spun the vehicle.
It looks like, and we'll see it on the replay, this is just for show as Full Metal Jacket finishes out, but he did a 360 around the turn.
Ram Tracks with a lead. Now that's the little blue one on the far side, but look how tight he makes the turn. And he's on the throttle. He's got him covered, but now we're in trouble with Full Metal Jacket. It's crossways, 360, but Ram Tracks just cooking right across the finish line. So we're going to put Fast Tracks against Ram Track in the finals of this.
Look at that. Looks like a shark, doesn't it?
The winner, yes. The winner of this will run the Taurus truck. You got to think that Taurus has got an advantage.
Well, I would think, but we'll see. You know, that Fast Tracks is, for a tank, a real smoker. It's on the far track now. There it is, Bigfoot Fast Tracks, the latest brainchild of Bob Chandler, on the computer, and frankly unveiled here in 1989. It's his first year. And Ram Tracks right there from Jefferson City, Missouri, will go. This is an upset. I did not figure that truck to be that tank to be there.
No one had that plan. But can he do this? I mean, if he does this, he has no doubt. Whoa, look out! Look out! He's have got to give a gold star to Ramtrax.
Absolutely. Watch the turn that Ramtrax makes.
Pulls the right lever and just dirt goes everywhere for the ride. Just keep it down on the ground. That's all you got to do. Keep the throttle wide open. Now Dubes with a good lead and outside for a win.
So Dubes wins it. Fast Tracks now comes to the near track. It will go head-to-head with the monster truck Taurus. And the winner will win the battle of the monster trucks.
Dan Dubes got to feel a little more pressure. He's carrying the blue for Chandler.
He really is. Taurus has had an amazing night here, and now will try to parlay it into a win over the tank vehicle. They wait for the green flag.
You got to think Taurus has got an advantage going into this, even though, you know, he's single blown, and this is two supercharged motors over on this side. He's got a big lead out of the start, but Dan Dubes is not letting up. Taurus is still in the lead. Taurus with a good lead coming around. It's throttled down for Taurus, and Taurus will take an easy win.
I think in that situation, Mike, the tired vehicle always has the advantage.
Well, and it's lightweight. It's good design on it. It is a tremendous vehicle. Taurus, there is your winner, Ken, and he has done an awesome job.
A beautiful truck, driven to perfection. Taurus, the winner tonight. Jack Willman, Madison, Illinois, a race driver by profession and a winner here at the Astrodome tonight.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago, Illinois for the 7th annual U.S. Hot Rod Association Camel Mud Racing and Monster Truck National Points Final. I'm Brett Kevner, and along with Jerry Devine, we'll be bringing you the action from what Jerry is basically turning out to be a war. We've already seen the Super Modified Mud title wrapped up, but it's the Monster Truck battle that's going to go down to the wire.
You can better believe that. There's only 4 points separating Jack Willman and Fred Schaefer. We talked to them a little bit earlier, and let me tell you, they're just about at each other's throats.
That's true. With Barefoot and Taurus going at it neck and neck here, the final event of the year is the one that's going to determine the championship, and earlier Jerry had a very interesting conversation with the two drivers involved.
We're with the two fellas that have been chasing each other all over the country the entire season. Door handle to door handle, fender to fender, and tonight it's worth $50,000. Fred Schaefer with Barefoot. Fred, you're 4 points away from winning tonight over Jack Willman. How's it going to go?
Tonight's the night I've been waiting for about a year now. And it's all going to come down to tonight. We're going to try and put Jack on the trailer early.
You really want Adam, don't you?
I want him. I've been waiting a year for this.
Well, Jack, how about it? You going to let him have it?
Well, I think if he wants it so bad, why should we even qualify? Let's just match up the first round right off the bat and don't even worry about the qualifying, and we'll see who puts who on the trailer.
Hey, I took this lead over with 11-point winning streak. 11 wins in a row. And I'm going to show him tonight what Barefoot's made out of.
How about it, Ford?
Half of them 11 wins where he had to run 3 trucks in a race, and there wasn't none of them competitors for him. But I sure in the heck wasn't there.
He was at 5 of those races. He don't remember that.
It's going to be intense. We're going to find out on the track in just a few moments.
We're just about ready to start qualifying of the Monster Truck. And Jerry, Rob Morris out of Fort Worth, Texas, in the 4-wheel Crazy Ford will be first man up on this very unusual circular course.
You're right, Brett. Now watch these turns. These drivers have got to really manipulate the steering of both the front wheels and the rear wheel.
This is a brand new type of course that's never been tried before, and it actually means there they have to take, look at this, up on 2 wheels. They actually have to take one hand off the steering wheel to operate the toggle switch to steer the rear. You can see going around the turns that it is easy to get up on 2 wheels because these hard left-hand turns are so tight. Rob Morris with an elapsed time of 17.65 seconds will set the pace, Jerry. But here's the man who is shooting for a world championship, Fred Schaefer and Barefoot.
And Fred is ready to go. Let's watch him now. This truck really launches. Look at this. Fred Schaefer just flipping that last car.
Man, that was a rough landing. He's getting thrown around in there. Now full throttle again over the second set on the back straight. He's getting a little more conservative now. Whoa!
Whoa!
I thought he was.
One more time. Up, up, and over. He clears them all.
That's incredible. With only about 50 feet of approach, he clears 5 cars. Here, look at the pylon. You touch that pylon, you'll be disqualified. He just barely misses it on 2 wheels and comes back down the front straight. Barefoot at 17.33 seconds on a rough landing will take over the #1 spot.
All right, here comes Ray Krakowski now with Evil Force from St. Louis.
Perkowski is in the top 8 in the World Points Championship despite never having won an event this year, Jerry, but he's had 5 runners-up.
A real heavy machine. Okay, Reed's heading for that first turn. Whoa!
Oh, I thought he was going to go over. Well, he drives into the mud pit wall, and that's going to slow him down, obviously. He'll have to back up, realign himself with the cars, and that's going to put him way back in the back. I'll tell you, it looked like Perkowski lost his bearings coming off the first set of cars. Didn't even know where that turn was.
He sure did.
Yeah, now he realizes that, of course, he's pretty much thrown any chance of qualifying in the top half right out the window, so he'll just idle it around and save the equipment for the first round of competition. You got to hand it to this guy, though. Like I said, without a single victory this year, he still is in the top 8 out of some 60 monster trucks, Jerry, that competed in this Camel U.S. Hot Rod Association World Title Series. Look at this thing. Up on 2 wheels, and at that point, he doesn't have any idea where he is.
Wouldn't have taken much more, and he'd have gone right over on his side. Well, here's first blood. Rob Hughes from Woodstock, Illinois. Rob is a strong competitor.
He has to be physically strong to withstand that kind of landing. He is thrown around in the cockpit, straightens it out beautifully, though. Now, again, he gets a little conservative. Hughes has been in 6 finals this year, including 1 win. He's got his own fan club here tonight, too, there.
A little different driving style. You notice how he kind of hangs out the window a little bit.
Well, the 1989 Rookie of the Year, he is extremely aggressive. There's no question about it. The elapsed time for first blood, 18.29 seconds. Right in front of his fan club there. Obviously, they are happy with his performance. Here you see, he's about the first one, Jerry, we've seen been able to keep all 4 wheels on the ground on those turns.
Good job of driving.
Of course, his launches are legendary.
All right, coming up next, Jack Woolman and Taurus.
Now, it's going to be interesting to see, Jerry, if Willman decides to go for broke or to try and pair up with Barefoot in the very first round, and he's not pushing it.
No, this truck is capable of a lot more than this.
I'll tell you, it takes absolute guts to come out here and run at half throttle just so you can pair up with Barefoot in the first round. He's going to have to run somewhere around 17.7, 17.8 seconds, I think, to qualify number 5 or number 6 where he wants to be. The elapsed time on the run will be coming up shortly. Here you see him lifting that left front wheel around the turn. But again, very, very easy round. And here's the elapsed time, 17.83 seconds. It'll be interesting to see if that lines up against Barefoot.
Well, here's John Pyatt and Bigfoot. Bigfoot's currently in the third in the point standing.
Wow, an aggressive launch for John Pyatt. Of course, vehicle owner Bob Chandler's here tonight. You always got to do well in front of the bar.
Boy, these turns are something else.
Hey, he puts it up on the wall of the mud pit and then sideways over the last set of cars. And I'll tell you, that's an interesting way to go around here. It's turning into such a war. Look at this thing. The left front wheel, 3 feet off the ground. The 3 top drivers, certainly John Pyatt, Fred Schaefer, and of course Jack Woolman and Taurus, they're just going after each other. The elapsed time for Bigfoot ends up being 17.67 seconds, and that'll be good right now for the number 4 spot.
The Eliminator, Jim Reese, coming all the way from Buena Park, California.
Now, Reese has had 4 victories in 11 final round appearances this year. This Chevrolet is strong.
Notice how they got to manipulate those rear wheels in order to make these short turns.
I'll tell you, that's the smoothest run we've seen, Jerry. That thing was just on rails all the way around. But Mark DeVete was Barefoot at 17.33 seconds. We'll wait for the numbers. Look at how smooth he was, Jerry.
Comes down kind of hard, but he gets it good time, though.
The elapsed time, 17.31 seconds. And by 0.02 of a second, the Eliminator is number 1.
AM/PM rocket, Dale Boucher.
The youngster from California, who is definitely one of the strongest drivers of the 1990 season, with 1 victory. You saw him on ESPN winning at Worcester, Massachusetts. A little sideways over the back straight. Puts those wheels up as is almost far for the course now and heads for the front straight.
Good job of driving.
Yeah, heck of a strong finish on the last run. The elapsed time for the Lockett Chevy, 17.72 seconds. That'll give him the number 5 spot as he lifts the left front wheel, sets it down, and plants the throttle. Strong strong young driver. Now, the question is, did they pair up? It'll be Eliminator and Jim Reese against the AMPM Rocket of Dale Boucher, four-wheel crazy Rob Morris in the Ford from Texas against First Blood. And there it is, Jerry. Barefoot and Taurus pair in the first round. Jerry, this is the first time we've seen this circular course used where both trucks will line up facing each other. It's one lap around the course with a common finish line counterclockwise. Rob Morris in the four-wheel crazy, by the way, we just received word that the Camel people have awarded him Rookie of the Year honors for 1990, and deservedly so.
All right, a good even start. You notice how they are both running the course at the same time with a common finish line.
Finish line is right there, right in the middle of the crush cars. They are halfway through. It's one lap. Now they come around the last turn and they race to the finish line head on. Who's it gonna be? Oh, man, that was too close to go. What a race.
Very close.
Wait a minute. It looked like Rob Morris may have had brake problems. I think he hit the wall, Jerry.
Let's take another look.
Whoa, man.
Boy, did he hit that.
You could just barely see that at the end of the course. This is another angle. As he lands after the finish line, we still haven't determined an official winner yet. Wham, man, he hits that wall. And we just got word he was the winner in that round, so he's got his work cut out for him.
Oh, I don't know if he's going to be able to make it back or not. Well, here's Bigfoot, John Pyatt. Big blue truck from St. Louis. He'll be going against another St. Louis entry, Ray Perkowski with Evil Force.
Now, Bigfoot, the number 4 qualifier. Perkowski, you remember, had problems in qualifying and finished number 8 in this 8-truck field of qualifying, lining up ever so carefully. The crewman, by the way, with the radio transceiver has a kill switch. He can shut the truck off anytime he wants.
Okay, right now it's an even race. Let's watch it now at the halfway mark. Looks like Bigfoot might have gone a little wide. So did Perkowski.
And Perkowski has problems. Yeah, you can see it looked like the rear wheels actually broke. And Perkowski is up against the berm, the same place he ran into problems in qualifying. And now under rules on this new course, John Pyatt must wait for the lane to be cleared to complete his lap. You can see event director Tina Kelly holding him up, saying, all right, we have a block lane. You must hold until we determine the problem. Now watch the rear wheels. I swear I saw that the rear wheels actually were aimed at each other. He goes out of view, but when he comes back in, I'm almost inclined to believe he broke the rear end assembly. No, they're still okay there. There they go. Yeah, aimed in towards each other in a V. He broke the entire rear end of that truck. And there you see John Pyatt finally makes it back around as they got Perkowski off to the side. He will go into the semifinal round, and with the amount of Bigfoot fans here, that's making the crowd happy.
Oh, Brett, look what we got now. Taurus, Jack Willman. And he'll be facing none other than Fred Schaefer in Barefoot.
Isn't it amazing that we have gone through some 60 events this year, yet the World Championship battle comes down to one run. Now, the way this works, Jack Willman, remember, intentionally qualified against Barefoot to make it in this first round pairing. Barefoot must win this race to automatically become the 1990 Camel World Champion. If Barefoot loses, Jack Willman must go on to win the event in Taurus for him to win his first World Championship. And Jerry, as you showed at the beginning of the show, these guys really do not like each other. This isn't a fake rivalry. There's no love between these two.
That's right. And you know what's more amazing yet is that these two are from the same city in Illinois.
Yeah, a little town of Granite City across the Mississippi River from St. Louis. And for 60 events, they have traveled across the country only to race each other, and they live 3 miles from each other.
They won't even eat in the same restaurant.
It's amazing. It is amazing, the rivalry between these two. And I don't know exactly what's going on here, but it almost looks like we've got the monster truck version of a drag racing burn down here. I don't think either driver wants to be the first to stage up.
Look at here. Jack Willman is climbing out of the truck.
I wonder if he's not having mechanical problems or if he's just trying to play a psychological game here. Sitting on the door, just waiting for Schaefer to line up. And now he's telling Schaefer, get that thing on the line.
Oh, look at the look in his eyes.
I'll tell you what, this is, like I said, this is no joke. This is a serious rivalry, a $50,000 battle. And now he's nodding his head.
Putting the mouthpiece in.
Yeah, he's not happy. He doesn't want to play any games.
Oh, if looks could kill.
Yeah, Fred Schaefer is in the same frame of mind. Oh, what a way to end a season. What a way to determine a world champion. Now, Schaefer isn't even staged up yet. He hasn't moved.
All right, here we go for $50,000. Good even run.
They're dead even going into that first turn. Schaefer goes wide, but so does Doris. Schaefer sideways, loses a lot of ground, but Willman comes down hard. And they're even again at the last turn. Here they come.
Schaefer goes wide. I think he's into the wall. Taurus wins. Taurus wins. All right, now let's take a look at the second half of the race. This is going into the second turn. It looks like Fred Schaefer right here got out of it just a little bit. And this is what cost him the race because Jack Willman stayed in it. Look at this. Jack Willman on his last turn comes on and he hits the pedal, flies over the car, clears over the entire cars. I thought he was going to hit the wall, but he brings it to a stop. Jack Willman with Taurus takes the win.
You were busy, Jack, over here plowing into the wall, or plowing into a nosedive on the last jump. Freddie Schaefer drove right into the wall under power over there, and it was side by side. You didn't have an advantage at that point.
No, there was no advantage. It's really slick down here. Of course, a lot slicker than it is at the other end. Of course, I thought, I was going to get the wall, and actually I thought probably I was going to lose the race because of this.
Freddie Schaefer obviously not very happy.
All right, Fred Schaefer going around, finishing the course.
What is going on is that Fred Schaefer is finishing the lap so that he gets a losing place in the first round. He is finishing the lap so that he officially finished the run. All he had to do was cross over his finish line, and he did. He officially crossed over the run there after hitting the wall. Now, like we said, the way it works out officially is if he had beaten you, he would... All right, one more time. Had Barefoot beaten you, he would have won the World Championship outright. Now, you have to win the event. You must go to the final and win. If you get runner-up, you'll lose the World Championship by 1 point. If you win the event, you will win the World Championship by 1 point. And if you didn't hear me already, you've got a certain blue Ford in the next round. You will have to race Bigfoot.
Oh, is that who I got? I didn't know who I have, but I got the first two steps. I had to qualify so I could beat him, and then I had to put him away. We got through them two, now we'll worry about the next two steps. All I can do is just try and hope.
Even though that was the toughest battle, like I said, this is far from over, Guy. It's still a war.
Oh, that's right. And, these two trucks that I got to come up against, they're running awful good.
It's going to be incredible. Good luck, and congratulations on getting over that hurdle.
Thank you.
Final heat of the first round coming up. It's the Eliminator with Jim Reese from Buena Park, California, going against the AMPM rocket Dale Boucher. A good even start between the two trucks coming around the first turn.
Remember, the Eliminator was your #1 qualifier, so he's got the power, but it looks like Boucher has the advantage, Jerry.
It's close. It's going to be close at the finish line. He goes wide. Whoa!
It looks like he spun out. Here comes Reese going into his last turn. There's the rocket up into the mud pit. And again, we've got a situation where the event director, Tina Kelly, will hold up the Eliminator while Dale Boucher, boy, he's all crossed up. He's not anywhere right.
Well, Dale Boucher looks like he's going to pull right back out into the pit area and let Jim Reese finish his course.
Now, that's sportsmanship, I'll tell you, because he could have actually turned that into a restart with only a couple of feet to go. But, boy, you can see the rear tires just broke loose. He spun around. Now, watch. I'm sure Reese looked over to see him sitting over there. Now, right about there is where he sees and locks up the brakes, sees that the rocket is blocking his lane, and Jim Reese will be automatically given an advancement into the next round. What a wild round. Now, wait a minute. We've just received word that Rob Morris and 4-Wheel Crazy will not be able to return, and because he was #2 qualifier, Barefoot will get back in the program for the next round, Jerry.
Well, you can better believe that Jack Willman is going to be upset with that.
We're back at the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago, Illinois for the U.S. Hobbit Association 1990 points final. And, Jerry, it's kind of appropriate that at this event, certainly the wildest monster truck race in the 16-year history of this class, that we would have the two machines that were the first ever built for this type of motorsports, Bigfoot and Barefoot. It's neat.
as well as the founders of Indoor Motorsports and the United States Hot Rod Association, Ed Thayer and Tony Vaccaro are here.
It's true. They were the people that brought this kind of sport to the masses from coast to coast across the United States and Canada. Here's a unique situation. Barefoot is back in the program because Rookie of the Year Rob Morris in the four-wheel crazy could not return. He's against Jim Reese in the Eliminator. This has changed the whole deal.
Jim Reese, a strong competitor, and it looks like Jim Reese might have a problem here.
Yeah, definitely. And Fred Schaefer also having traction problems. In fact, Jim Reese was able to make up a lot of the time that he lost there. Look at Schaefer. He's really gone conservative here. And the Eliminator beats him.
Unbelievable.
Now, to see Fred Schaefer go from absolutely full throttle to that kind of conservatism, you have to wonder if this course isn't getting that tricky for the higher horsepower trucks. Look at Schaefer. He's not even that far in the air. And going into the turn, the same thing you brought up earlier about his conservatism costing him the race with Taurus. Looks like it's doing the same thing here. And Jim Reese has had nothing but transmission problems this weekend, yet he managed to get all the way around there, and you can see him very aggressive there in the final jump. The Eliminator goes to the final round. What an upset, but boy, that opens the door for Taurus and Jack Willman again, Jerry.
It certainly does. Jim Reese, a strong competitor throughout the entire season, and he stays in the program. Well, here's Bigfoot, John Pyatt.
Jack Willman has had the roughest road of anybody here at this event. First round, he takes on the points leader, Barefoot. Now, in order to win that $50,000 Camel World Championship, he's got to get past the best-known truck in the world.
You can see the concentration on Jack Willman's face.
Hey, this is going to be just as much a war as any first-round battle we saw. They leave the line. Look at that. Probably the two best launches we've seen throughout the event. They go into the first turn. A lot of tire spin for Pyatt. He gets sideways.
Still even. Look at this. Dead heat.
Boy, they're dead even. Willman getting real aggressive. Going way wide, though. Trying to straighten it out. Look out, look out. I don't believe my eyes.
Jeff Morgan in the center of the track. It looks like he might have gotten clipped.
I am almost positive that our starter, he's on his feet. He's obviously okay in the center of the mud pit, but you can see the crew's going out to see if he's all right. It certainly looked like he was actually run over by the Taurus Chevy of Jack Willman. That's the scariest situation I've ever seen in this sport.
Unbelievable. Let's take a look at the replay now.
It almost looked like Taurus may have hit Bigfoot as well at the end of that course. The Christmas tree is totally destroyed. There you see Morton telling him to keep racing, telling him to get the track clear and bring out the next pair. That guy's got guts.
The bulb's all missing out of the tree. Here comes Taurus now.
All right, you see that rough landing. That may have caused Willman to lose his bearings completely. That was rough enough to almost knock him out. He is under power. You can see him spinning the tires as he goes around the turn. Then the rear end comes around as the machine is definitely losing traction, but he gets right back in the throttle, and it just doesn't respond to the steering. He's got the wheels cranked, Jerry. Now watch. Look at Morton running out of the way.
There's the bulbs flying out of the tree, and it looks like the tree itself, the metal part of the tree, hit Jeff Morgan in the back.
Let's look at it again. I can't tell if it's the rear tire of Taurus or the Christmas tree pole, as you said, that hits him in the back. I'm almost, boy, oh, that is just incredible. I'm almost inclined to believe that both of them hit him, Jerry. And then he comes over, Willman comes over, and it looks like tags Bigfoot. Pyatt saw him coming and actually got on the brakes, but John Pyatt is awarded the win, and Jeff Morgan, the U.S. Hot Rod Association starter, Jerry, should get a medal for actions above and beyond the call of duty on that one.
Well, we have preliminary reports that Jeff is okay.
Yeah, he was back on his feet almost immediately, and he is going to apparently stay with us. The paramedics, as we've been watching the replay, have been checking him out, and they say he wants to stay. He looks okay to us. But what a wild, wild incident. There you see Bob Chandler, the owner and the man who created the monster truck phenomenon, with Bigfoot out of St. Louis, Missouri, waving to the crowd. He'll be in the final round.
Well, here's the finals in the monster trucks. Bigfoot, John Pyatt going to go against Jim Reese in the Ecology Eliminator.
You know, we had so many people say they came here to see Bigfoot win, but Jim Reese just might be the spoiler for the Chevy fans here in this final. We've already seen the World Championship wrapped up by Barefoot and Fred Shaver, but now we've got the event title to determine with the machine that started it all against one of the new young lions.
Well, the crowd here at the Rosemont Horizon will love this one because it's a Ford Chevy battle.
Bob Chandler, the creator of Bigfoot and monster trucks in general, for that matter, looking on. As we pointed out, the U.S. Hobbit Association officials, the hierarchy that brought indoor motorsports to the United States 16 years ago. Looking on at the finals of the wildest monster truck race ever run.
Jim Reese has to hold his truck together for just one more run. Here we go.
Uh-oh, it looks like Reese is in big trouble. Bryant is coming around the first turn, and Reese can't even get over the cars. Jerry Bigfoot is going to win this one on a free ride.
Jim Reese having some unfortunate transmission problems that just faded away at the last moment.
You know, he survived that transmission problem through qualifying, through 2 rounds of elimination. The transmission was falling in and out of gear in the first 2 rounds, and now there's not even enough fluid left in that transmission case to get the thing off the cars. And John Pyatt sitting in Bigfoot has got to be elated. He's just got to be thrilled.
Well, now it looks like Jim Reese has got steering problems on top of it.
Yeah, there was something radically wrong with that truck, and you can see the dejection. You just can imagine how Jim Reese feels coming all the way from Los Angeles to Chicago only to make it to the final and then have this happen. But I don't think the crowd is disappointed.
There's our winner, John Pyatt and Bigfoot. And the crowd loves it.
Well, John, you've got to be thrilled with this victory, but you have to admit the second round against Taurus was an extremely bizarre situation.
Yeah, it definitely was. You know, everyone involved is really lucky that everyone come out okay, and it's just one of the weird things that happened. It's the first time I've ever seen anything like that.
I should point out, though, that your driving all night long was right there with the best of them. You did have some of the quickest times throughout eliminations, and it looked like you were the one that was able to handle a very, very slippery track.
Yeah, I feel like I drove kind of poorly, actually, but just trying to be consistent and just keep the truck pointed in the right direction as it was a key for the win.
Well, after the first round, it was not a horsepower track. It was a driver's track, and you ended up being the driver, buddy.
All right, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner tonight, the 1990 National Points Final, John Pyatt and Bigfoot.
This is it, folks. We're in Pontiac, Michigan at the Pontiac Silverdome in front of a packed house of people who are pumped for the final time this year. The bad boys of monster trucking, the Warriors who've been going head-to-head all year long, are getting together to crown a champion. And for this, I'll be back in the pits bringing you all the stories from behind the scenes. But that's enough from me. Let's go to a guy who's truly a motor mouth, our very own Joe Lowe.
4 times these two mighty monsters have met. Monster Patrol's only won it 1 time. Alan Pizzo drives Predator, qualified 7th today. But look at Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol. He was the 2nd fastest qualifier on a very, very tough course here at the Pontiac Silverdome. There's a shot of Paul up in the cockpit. We are ready to go. Race number 1, round number 1. On the start, Predator with a hole shot. Monster Patrol battles back. It's Monster Patrol! Monster Patrol wins it in the World Finals against Predator. And Predator was smoking at the end. Predator looked very, very strong at the start of the race, and then something happened. Smoke comes pouring out of the engine. It may have gone away on him. He finishes the race, but sorely behind Monster Patrol. You can see the loss in power right here. Predator starts to fade, and Monster Patrol sails on to victory. Jim Davidson's with Paul Schaefer.
Hey, Paul, sometimes it's the case that when Gravedigger and Barefoot are around, they get all the headlines, but you're out there making some ripples in the pond yourself.
Well, I got my Van Simmons motor in it, and it's geared up, and it's running good, and these guys are going to have to look up toward me now because I'm getting better and better and better. My motor's running good, and I'm ready for him.
He's having quite a rookie year, Monster Patrol. Meanwhile, there's some problem in the pits with Alan Pizzo's Predator. He's got the engine torn down, and the question is, will he be able to come back? We continue with action on the track. David Morris comes out. Our first look at him in the Monster World Finals. 6 times these trucks have met this year. 5 times Equalizer has been victorious. Invader is driven by Ray Perkowski, qualified 8th today. 3rd in qualifying was the Equalizer with David Morris aboard. Early on in the season, when they raced for the first time,
Invader rolled over. That's played heavy on Ray Perkowski's mind all year long. From inside the cab of Equalizer, David Morris taking a tough bounce. Whoa, he bounces all over the cab of that truck and wins the race. 4.50 seconds to Invader's 5.53. The replay shows Equalizer's hole shot of at least a half second. All season long, we talked about how important it was to get off the starting line right. Equalizer gets that win because of that hole shot. Ray Perkowski, he waited till Equalizer moved before he started, and that was his problem. He was not looking at the light. A good run, other than the fact he was just too slow for Equalizer. It's race time. Waves Mozanik gets in position. Eldon Depew already has Taurus there. He waits for the green light. Showtime! Taurus with a hole shot. And what's happened to Tropical Thunder? He lost the transmission. He can only limp across the cars. Your winner is Eldon Depew and Taurus.
Eldon, congratulations. A nice race against Tropical Thunder. Tell me about that one.
Thanks, Jim. Well, you know, just watching the lights, trying to cut a good light and get a little edge on a competitor, and just hammering in between the cars. The trucks were having a little problems with the motor tonight. I don't know what the problem is, but hopefully we can get it solved.
Time enough to figure it out here between rounds?
I don't know. I hope so.
Our next two Super Series trucks are at the line, Carolina Crusher and Pontiac. What happens to Pontiac? He pulls to the line to stage and blows an engine. Bendler looks back at the engine smoking, and he gets unhooked. He says, I'm going to look at this one. Terry Porter's going to take a look. He goes, what happened to you, buddy? He's going to get a bye run. Carolina Crusher with the easiest run of his night. He gets a bye run and wins it. Is it possible for Gravedigger to beat Barefoot on a straight line course? We're about to find out. Dennis Anderson aboard the Gravedigger qualified 6th today, but Fred Schaefer took Barefoot to 1st in qualifying. These two trucks have met 7 times this season. Gravedigger has only been victorious once. Dennis Anderson knew he'd probably have to meet Barefoot this year, but did he think it would happen in the first round?
All right. God dog. I didn't want to meet up with the old big red Dodge first thing, but hey, man, I got to turn this old panel truck loose, go or blow, make it or break it.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. Make it or break it. On the start, Gravedigger pops a wheelie. Gravedigger gets a hole shot on the world champion. Dennis Anderson defeats Barefoot. The Gravedigger wins. The big Dodge can't believe he lost as he leaves the track. On the starting line, Dennis Anderson, very, very quick on the light. He pops a wheelie, and it's all Gravedigger from there on out. Matter of fact, he may have been too quick on the light. It seems as though there's a bit of a controversy, and Dennis Anderson, who's been known to do it before, may have red lighted. He's with Jim Davidson.
Dennis, I know you just got back here in the pits after running Fred. Totally blew him away, my friend, but they're reviewing it right now. You may have red lighted. What happened at the line?
I don't know. I was trying to cut a good light, but I honestly don't think I've red lighted, you know. I know the truck's hooking up good and it moves as soon as you touch it, but I don't know. They better look close because I don't think it's a red light.
Rich Mikan, what's the story?
They just reviewed the tape in the truck, and Dennis, it was official red light.
Dennis?
I don't know, man. I tell you, it's a bummer. I want to see that video. They're going to have to prove it to me because I ain't going to take that.
You've been running hard all year, my friend. We'll see what we can do.
Well, Dennis, let's all look at it. You did, in fact, red light, buddy. A full half-second start before Barefoot got the green light. You won the race, but you lost it. You're disqualified because of the red light. Now the fans are getting the news. There are a few Barefoot fans, and with that win and that romp down the track, Barefoot is officially the U.S. Hot Rod Association 1993 World Champion.
Fred, congratulations. 1993 is yours, my friend. You're tearing it up all year long, and you got the Monster Wars Championship.
Thanks, Jim. It's a great feeling. I didn't have any idea what was going on out there.
Gatsby, you're back here in the pits. You've been behind him all year long. How do you feel?
Great, great.
Fred, you're up against Dennis Anderson. I know it's round 1, but you knew what was riding on the line there. Did you have any idea you red lighted?
No, I didn't. I knew I had to wait on the light. I couldn't afford a DQ this late in the game, so I had to wait on the green light. And I knew he left before I did, but I didn't have any idea he red lighted.
When you got back here in the pits, you had thought you actually lost that race, didn't you?
I sure did, Jim. I didn't know what was going on there. And like I said, I did wait on the light, and I was worried about red lighting because I didn't want to get DQ'd. I didn't have any idea he red lighted. I thought I lost the race.
The ride that made him the only three-time world champion, Fred Schaefer in barefoot.
The Chevrolet, the Auto Value Chevrolet, takes on the Dodge Express. Here we go. Monster Challenge one more time. And a good shot. Oh, look out. Ken Deppy goes right over. Unbelievable. Ken Deppy tried to take care of the moguls, and the moguls took care of him. Incredible.
I stayed in the power hoping that the front end would bring itself back out, but it's too far over the front wheels. I just watched on the video. Front wheels are spinning hard, but they weren't touching the dirt.
We may have some body damage. We may have a little more than that, but the number one thing is you're okay. One more time for Ken Deppy in the big Dodge Express.
Pamela and Mike Butters are husband and wife. He drives the Black Stallion, and she the Boogie Band. When they're not racing, they're like any other married couple. But when they take to the track, the competition really heats up. As for Pam, the thrill is in the winning.
When you guys go head-to-head, it must be something special.
Oh, yeah, something special.
How about beating up on him, though?
That's fun. That's the fun part, winning all the races.
And does he take it like a man, or does he whimper?
No, he takes it like a man. He's pretty good.
And now the two monsters come up, round number two, and only winning counts in round number two. Fred Schaefer already won the world championship aboard barefoot. He'd love to get a win now against Predator. 1,500 horsepower, the Keith Lackemy Dodge, his power plant. Predator, 10,010 pounds, Chevy-powered, 1,800 horses. That is, in fact, 300 more than barefoot. Dodge against Chevy for this matchup, and inside the cab of barefoot. Fred Schaefer takes us for a ride. Predator gets the whole shot, but again, the world champion comes from behind, as we've seen him do so many times this year. Barefoot gets the win. An incredible feat of driving for the world champ. Meanwhile, Predator is smoking. He waits to be towed to the pit. Predator had the whole shot, had that whole race won, but the engine gave way. A valve blew early on. Barefoot took advantage of that problem and leaped to victory.
And now, on the line, the World Championship. Can the Dodge Ram do it here at the Silverdome? Let's find out. It comes through. Very close. Oh, my. That is anybody's race. And we are going to have to go to the video on this one.
Great place to have this thing. This is where Monster Trucking first started indoors way back in 1981. Of course, then they just crushed cars and didn't really race. But we are racing now, make no mistake about it. And Eldon Depew aboard Taurus, one of the toughest competitors on the circuit, the 10,000-pound Chevy-powered Taurus, going against the equally impressive Equalizer, 10,200 pounds, 1,300 horses for Equalizer. Both these trucks are Chevy-powered. As a stage, let's go up inside the cockpit of Equalizer with David Morris for the start of this race. Power up, green light. Whoa, could you feel the landing? Equalizer wins it. Watch out for the wall, David.
Watch out, we done it that time. We took that win.
I believe you did too, David. Why don't we see it one more time? On the start, it was Taurus, and then Equalizer plants firmly down and soars on to victory.
It's Taurus versus the Equalizer. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner goes to the Final Four. Good launch, they take it through. Looks like David Morris and the Equalizer. It will be a single. What's important here is he will make a very good pass if he wants lane choice. Here he goes. Let's watch. The Monster Patrol. Big air. Not a really good launch, but he'll be right in the hunt. Now, it's literally Porter against the clock. He has the round one. Here he goes. Not a good run.
Welcome back to Monster Wars, the World Finals. And what a strange twist of fate here. Invader could not meet the gun. Carolina Carolina Crusher got a bye run, automatically moves to the semifinals. If that's not bad enough, Monster Patrol gets a bye run when Tropical Thunder can't start. So Monster Patrol is in the semifinals. Tropical Thunder's being towed back to the pits as we reorganize things for the semis. Let's go back to Luann Lee.
Here we go, the War Wagon. And Cook, let's watch it. Going through, bouncing it through, it is Mark Hall moving first. It's the Executioner. Now let's, oh, the War Wagon almost going over. And it's going to be all Hall. A great run for Mark Hall and the Executioner. RPM's up. Let's watch as the Hyperactive takes on Excalibur. Oh, Charlie blocking with big air. Oh, look at him, he just stays on it. Blocking riding the side. Now, can he bring it in? Blocking, recorrects, brings it home. Excalibur! What a job of driving. It's Rock and Race at the Dome. It is Chevrolet moving first, but here comes Fodders. Michael Fodders! It's even at this point. It will be Chevrolet making the turn first. Michael Fodders trying to come in. Win goes Chevrolet! Mike. Chevrolet wins.
The two trucks in the semifinals, Barefoot and Equalizer, have raced all year long. 9 times they've met. Barefoot's been victorious 6 of those. Equalizer, David Morris, average time 4.28 seconds on this track. Fred Schaefer's taken Barefoot to an average time of 4.36. Equalizer actually faster. On the start, Equalizer with a hole shot. Can Barefoot catch up? Yes, just barely. Just barely. Barefoot by 0.03 of a second defeats Equalizer. An incredible win for the world champion, Barefoot Dodge.
You want some RPMs, ladies and gentlemen? Monster Wars, it is David Morris out first. Oh my, unbelievable air. Incredible air for Barefoot, but was it enough?
The picture on the finish line tells the tale. Barefoot, your winner. Jim Davidson is in the Barefoot camp with Fred Schaefer.
Fred, you're out there tearing it up. You just put Equalizer away in the semis, but you had to come back to do it. Well, there's some mind games going on out there on the line.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. I really didn't know I wanted. The race was so close. They gave me a thumbs up on the way out the door. I really didn't know. I know it was a real close race.
Kathy's here to say congratulations to my friend. You are one step away from getting the win here in Pontiac.
Yeah, thanks, Jim.
Monster Patrol comes up to the line. You know, he started this year very, very late. He entered about 1 month into the action, and he certainly has done a super job. But his competition, the old-timer Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher, averaging 4.72 seconds in this track. Monster Patrol, 4.38 seconds. They line up, wait for the green light. Carolina Crusher with a hole shot. And look at Monster Patrol. He comes from behind. Monster Patrol defeats Carolina Crusher. Monster Patrol goes against Barefoot in our final. An incredible rookie season for Paul Schaefer and Monster Patrol. That ends the season for Crusher.
Here we go. Oh, what a launch and what a incredible second shot.
Carolina Crusher has had a good season. Gary Porter's definitely a great driver. You don't want to take anything away from him, but the combination of new equipment and the driving skill that Paul Schaefer has managed to garner from this sport is just incredible. And he's going to need every ounce of that for the final against Barefoot when Monster Wars comes back with our world final. This is it. The end of a season and a world championship for Fred Schaefer already wrapped up. But now, the old-timer, Fred Schaefer, one of the creators of this sport, has to go against the newcomer, Paul Schaefer, no relation, in the incredible Monster Patrol. Monster Patrol got to the finals by taking out Predator, Tropical Thunder, and Carolina Crusher. Barefoot, he took out Gravedigger early on, then Predator and Equalizer, and now the two line up, the rookie and the old-timer, Barefoot and Monster Patrol. Nobody in their right mind would dare not sit still and watch this race, because this is what monster truck racing is all about. Can the rookie take out the world champion? On the start, it is Monster Patrol with the whole shot. Barefoot fights. He can't do it! He can't do it! An incredible season for Monster Patrol! He just defeated the world champion! The truck designed by Jack Willman Sr., the driver, the world mud racing champion, has just taken out the world monster racing champion. And when this guy comes back for the 1994 season, look out! Fred Schaefer, Paul's on your tail. The Barefoot Dodge had a good run. You can't take that away from him. But this time, Dodge fell to the Chevy Monster Patrol. Fred Schaefer won a world championship here today, but he did not win this race. That goes to Paul Schaefer, who's standing by with Jim Davidson.
Paul Schaefer, excuse me, but I thought you were a rookie.
I am a rookie, but I'm learning quick.
What are you doing putting away Fred Schaefer in the Barefoot?
Well, I knew I had to put it all the way to the floor and hope for the best, and I put it to the wood, and I come out on top.
Leaving Pontiac as the winner's got to make you feel good.
Oh, that's the best day of my life to win this, because I wanted to beat Fred and the rest of them, and I proved to it that I can beat them.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
It's the end. Take it away. You guys get to the pits.
Who are those guys?
I have no idea.
I'm with Tom Mance. He's the driver of Bulldozer. A lot of people say you're the favorite tonight. Boy, a win here will be great momentum for next year, too, wouldn't it?
You ain't a kid. You know, we wasn't out here to run a full series this year. We'd like to take a win and enjoy it and savor it for the whole off season.
It looks like you're ready to go.
Yeah, we're definitely fired up. You know, it's a driver's track, and I consider myself a good driver, so I better do well.
All right, we'll see. Let's go now to Scott Douglas.
Guys, I'm with Dan Patrick. And Dan, it's been a great year for you. You've made a lot of finals, but so far haven't won an event totally. Is this the night you finally get it?
Well, we'd hope so. The first round here is going to be my toughest round, it looks like, you know. But I don't know. We've been, like you say, consistent all year. We've had breakage down. We've only broke $500 worth of parts the whole winter. I mean, so, you know, when you're an independent, nobody's writing checks. You know, when you look at it that way, I mean, you know, I feel that we won the series. But I'm really, I don't want to sound overconfident and cocky, but this is the course I should shine on. And tonight, the rules are basically no disqualifications, maybe some infractions. So there shouldn't be the problems we've had in the past of maybe hitting a barrier or something like that. So it should be a no holds bar race.
Let's go down pit road and find out what Dan Moriarty's getting ready for.
Scott, I'm here with Gary Porter of Carolina Crusher. Gary, up and down season. You came out strong. You sold the team. How do you get prepared for the final run of the year?
Well, I'm tell you what, it sort of has been a tough year for me. You know, we've had a lot of breakage and just little stuff that has happened that really never does happen to us. And, you know, hopefully we've overcome all of that. You know, we're here at the final race. You know, we hope we have the truck tuned up 100%. And we're going out here and give it all.
You heard it there. Carolina Crusher is always here for a good run. Mike Hogwood, who do you got?
I'm with the driver of Gunslinger, Scott Hartsock. Scott, you started this year so strong, winning 2 of the events. Not that you've slumped, but I know you'd love to end this season with a win.
Yeah, you're right. You know, we started off with a bang, and here we are at TWA Dome. It's the World Finals. We're going to come in here, you know, and if we got to shoot somebody in the back to get through these rounds, we're going to have to do it because we're going to put this mega-powered Ford Gunslinger right in the winner's circle.
All right, go get him tonight. Thank you. Scott Hartsock. Now let's go back to Scott Douglas.
Well, now I'm here with Paul Schaefer and the Monster Patrol. Paul, I know when you guys got to town and looked at this track, you looked at it and you got to thrashing, doing a lot of changing. What did you do?
I'll tell you what, this is the biggest tractor we've been on all year, and we had to take like 6% gear. We had to go to like a 3% gear, so we just increased the wheel speed probably 20, 30 mile an hour faster this track.
You got to be fast right off the get-go because you got Gravedigger in round 1.
Yeah, I'm second in the points, and I got Gravedigger, so I got to beat him. So I'm waiting.
Good luck, Paul. Let's go back down to Dan Moriarty.
Thank you, Scott. You know, Mike, that is one heck of a lineup, but we have a number of other trucks out here, some guys to watch out for.
Well, I think one of them we got to watch tonight is going to be Barefoot with Brian Womack. He's from St. Louis. Now, we've seen Todd Frolick drive this truck all year long, but Brian Womack from here has a lot of fans here really inspired to run Barefoot strong tonight.
Anybody else you should watch out for? The pits are tight. You're over here already. Thank you for being here. Who else should there be?
There's a mystery man here, and that's the Mountaineer. Our first look at him, and I'll tell you, it's a good-looking truck. It's got a great reputation. Want to keep our eye on the Mountaineer. If there's a dark horse to win the thing, though, I think it could be Equalizer and David Morris. He loves turning courses, and he's a great driver.
Well, guys, it's showtime. Get to your comfortable booth. I'll stay down here. Time to race.
All right. Boy, it sounds like a lot of fun here.
Oh, Mike, my hat's off to the crew. This is the greatest track I've ever seen built for a monster truck race. It's going to be an awesome night. And right off the bat, Mark Hall would love to tame it in the Executioner.
And he's got a tough opponent, though. He's got to go up against Sampson. Is there. You see the two trucks that are staging. Sampson, Dan Patrick, one of the favorites here. This track almost built for his truck with that big motor, and the fact that he also is able to really get around in those turns pretty good. We'll see what he can do.
No question about it. It is a driver's track, but as Dan Allen was saying, hey, motor makes a big difference. Sampson, barefoot, the guys with the huge motors could be tough here, and look at the lead Sampson has already.
Boy, Sampson jumps out to an early lead, and you see these obstacles that they have to go over. It's not easy at all, but Sampson negotiating it very, very well. And Sampson, as they turn around, the start-finish line is actually in the middle of the arena over those crushed cars, and Executioner can't quite make it over.
Well, at the end of the race, Executioner kind of went flat, but Mark Hall was in that race at the end, and, you know, it was a bit of a surprise. I thought that he'd just get outpowered by Dan Patrick, but Mark Hall runs one fine race here. Gets to the turn beautifully, and the turn will be big, Mike, as it always is here on Motor Madness. Gets a little sideways, but still not too bad because he's setting up the turn, and again, here they're only getting major infractions. You know, if you bump something a little bit, it's not going to give you a problem in St. Louis. And yeah, something just went away right there.
Something broke in the transmission, something on that truck. Well, look at Sampson. Dan Patrick really getting a lot of air, and then when he gets down, is able to get the ground speed back up. Just incredible.
You know, the air's impressive. It's great when you're watching it. It also costs you time on the racetrack. You're fastest when you're moving those wheels and cutting that dirt out of your way.
Dan Patrick really wants it here in St. Louis. Let's check in with Dan Moriarty.
Executioner looked good at first, then kind of slacked off near the end, and you just took it home hard.
Well, when I went in the turn, I saw he was there. Then I found out later his fuel pump cavitated and he lost power. But like I said, you know, that was a tough one to get around.
You said earlier you're the first monster truck out on that course. Are the jitters gone now? Once you get the first race done, next round coming up?
A little bit. I watched, you know, all the trucks that I could. I still say it's a fast course, like I said earlier. And so I've got that out, kind of under my belt, but I'm going in a different lane. So, you know, we just have to say.
Truck's running well, though?
Yeah, I'm very content with it. You know, we'll just do it a round at a time, and we'll get somewhere.
May the best truck win.
That's what we're here for.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Now coming up, well, this is an underdog right here, Scott.
Jim Killer comes in the Avenger. Our first look at him on Motor Madness out of Columbus, Michigan, in the Chevrolet S10. Kohler of 572, so he's got a lot of cubic inch to work with, and you know it's as big as the Hemis that are running. But again, we'll get a look at him, kind of an unknown. When you talk about engines, you start with the barefoot machine.
And how about Brian Womack? You know, the hometown favorite here. This is going to be an interesting story.
Well, Todd Frolick has been the main shoe behind the barefoot team this year, but Womack has had a great year as well. And in his hometown, barefoot needed a little change of luck. The team decided, let's go with Womack. Brian wants to prove that it was the right decision. He's off to a good start, and Avenger's in trouble.
Avenger is in trouble, and Womack is going to try to hold it straight and steady. If he does, he's going to advance here in round one. You see him taking his time there on that turn. He saw what has happened over the crushed cars to the finish line, and there it is. Brian Womack advances in round one.
Avenger got it going again, but something went away, lost power right in that first turn, and so Avenger will take an early exit from the 16-truck World Finals field here in the U.S. Hot Rod Association sanctioned action from St. Louis. Avenger will go ahead and finish the course and try and figure out what went wrong for the next time around the block. But, you know, Mike, as we look at barefoot, remember one thing. Any place that you can go straight, barefoot is going to have an advantage because nobody makes more horsepower than that team.
Yeah, the ground speed, when they do go straight, obviously is very, very important. We heard early in the show where some of the trucks have changed the gearing around a little bit just to be able to pick up some more horsepower and to be able to go just a little bit faster. But a nice run and a nice start for Womack and barefoot.
All right, you got Sampson next round, but you're coming in here taking over for Mr. Froelich, who's been running this series for a while. How's barefoot running?
Barefoot's running good, you know, and I got to really thank Todd for letting me come in here in my hometown to do this show. Sampson, he's a hard driver, you know. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat him out here. Hopefully I can get him into corners here. We'll have to wait and see. We got the horsepower to get down the straightaways.
The thing about this is, though, Sampson, in this next round, is changing lanes from his first round run. That's got to play mind games.
Yeah, we kind of flipped a coin for it. I got the same lane I had first round, so hopefully it'll work my advantage.
That's got to help. And also the hometown crowd. You talked about coming from here, Froelich saying, yeah, you know, go give it a run. You got to carry that barefoot flag.
Yeah, definitely. I want the flag. You know, we want to come number 1 tonight, and hopefully make Todd proud of us.
I think Todd will be proud of that run.
We got a couple of upstarts in this one, and I think either one of these guys could shake a bracket up tonight. Brian Barthel and Little Tiger going up against the Mountaineer and Robbie Gray out of Ripon, West Virginia. Our first look at Robbie on Motor Madness, but has built quite a reputation running up and down the East Coast. And now here with us in St. Louis for the World Finals against a veteran competitor in Brian Barthel, who's been strong this year on turning courses.
Yeah, I was talking to Robbie before we got underway here, and he was really excited about being here in St. Louis and said, I plan to pull off a couple of upsets. We'll see what he can do here against Little Tiger. Pretty even off the start, almost dead even as they head down to the turn.
Boy, they are dead even. A great race. Now remember, good start for Mountaineer. Little Tigers run against these guys before here on Motor Madness. As a matter of fact, he's made the Final Four a couple of times.
Little Tiger trying to take that turn a little too hard. Oh, Little Tiger goes over. Wow, what a tough break for Brian Barthel, and here comes Mountaineer to pull off the win in round 1. Little Tiger just couldn't make that turn.
The U.S. Hot Rod officials quickly on the scene to make sure Brian's okay, and he's moving around in the cab right now. As anybody who's ever been in a vehicle flipped will tell you, the first thing is to safely get yourself unbuckled and be able to get out of the vehicle. Looks like Brian's okay, and indeed, he's coming out. Not sure what happened. We're going to get a look at it, Mike, in a minute on replay, but that thing just kind of bit in the turn and went over on him.
Well, it started out fine. As we said, they were both dead even as they began, and then they come around to the turn. And I think that Brian knew they were even as they headed back down to the final turn, and that he was really going to have to give a little something extra. And that little extra he gave was just too much. And over she goes.
I'll tell you, that is one of the stranger turns I've seen. There was just no indication he was going to go over.
You know, Brian, that was exciting to watch. It may not have been as exciting to be in the middle of it.
It was actually kind of exciting to ride it out. I mean, I was steering and trying to correct it, but it just wouldn't come back down. With a broken cylinder, it overextended one way.
What do you think happened to that corner? Because you were so tight, and you looked like you may have had that victory.
It broke the inside steering cylinder, and one cylinder won't hold the wheels, so they shot all the way the other way, and it just pulled it right over.
Right, the fact that you can't win a race and you get to go out like that, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm going to try and have it fixed for freestyle in a few minutes.
You just did your freestyle.
Well, I'm going to do it again.
Way to go, Brian.
Thanks.
Well, that explains it. Something broke on Little Tiger and gave Mountaineer the win.
Yeah, exactly, because as I mentioned a moment ago, there was just no indication, and bang, over he goes. Now, Robbie Gray was hanging with Little Tiger, but it was going to be a tight race, and you can see Robbie kind of burping the turns, trying to get a feel for it in the Mountaineer. This turns out for him to be a very good situation because now he gets a feel for the course before he goes to the next round.
So Robbie Gray, a newcomer here on Motor Madness Monster Jam, and he is impressive in his first run.
Robbie, first round down. How's the truck running?
Truck's running good. We're real happy with it. I'm going to try to set it down the first pass, which it only takes one to get you put out here. So the truck handled real good. I got into the first turn, not as good as I wanted to, but when I got into the tabletops down there, I got into that second turn. I happened to look over, and I seen Little Tiger going up on 2 wheels. So now I could just lift it and start to backpedal a little bit and just kind of just carried my truck on through the other end because I knew he was in trouble. So, you know, I just kind of backpedaled a little bit to save my truck for the next round.
To be honest, is it a really bad way to win that way, or you'll just take it any way you get it?
Well, let's face it is a bad way to win anytime a guy has to get his truck tore up, regardless whose end it's on. But, you know, we'll take it and we'll go to the next round, even though we don't want him to have to, you know, go about that way. But next round, we'll just see what happens.
You're watching the World Finals, the monster truck action from St. Louis, Missouri. King Crunch. Scott Stevens at the wheel, been in this business a long, long time. You can't count him out. Well, this guy knows how to run all kinds of courses.
And another veteran is Jim Jack in the Reptoid out of Milton, Florida. So here are a couple of guys that we have seen here on Motor Madness throughout the 1999 racing season who have been able to spring some upsets. Neither of them has been able to get that big win here, but you know, you can't even get to the Final Four of the finals until you can come up with a first-round win. They both want this one bad, and they both think they can win this race.
All right, and they are underway here. And as through the first turn, a little bit of trouble. Trouble for Scott Stevens. Stevens had to actually back that truck up. Did not make the turn. That is going to kill him. And here comes Reptoid around. Knows all he's got to do now is run smooth. Oh, man, he just saw it. We were in the background there. The wheel came off. I saw that wheel rolling off. Scott Stevens had problems from the get-go in this thing.
This is not a run that's going to end up on Scott Stevens' highlight reel, except for what can happen in a monster truck. First of all, he misses the turn. You can see right there, if he takes that sonotube out, that way they're going to DQ him because he was going to maul it rather than just kind of bump the thing. Now as he comes around, he corrects it, and let's watch what happens, because all of a sudden when he hits the wheel, wow, it just busted on him.
Well, it just broke there, and we were focused in on Reptoid, our cameras were, and you saw there on the ISO that just came off. Ooh, man. That's kind of got to be scary when you're up in the cockpit of that, because it bounced back up into it.
What do you think happened?
Well, it looks like the planetary blew apart. We just got through sticking new axles in it, and the front chunk blew out last week on us, so did a good job, we thought, but looked like it came apart on us. So
before the race, the truck looked fine. It was riding fine. You had it all set. The course took advantage of it, you think, or what?
Yeah, he launched it pretty hard off that last jump, so that's probably what did it. I hadn't looked at the shocks yet to see where we landed up on that, but all that's going to play a factor is how the shocks were set up for this course. And right now, it looks like we were a little soft on them.
Get ready for the freestyle?
I don't know. It's going to be a tough one to get ready. If we could, we will, but whether or not it's going to happen or not, I just don't know.
Oh, I don't think you're going to get that ready. No way.
Oh, Scott Stevens took a beating inside that cab. Here's Jack Kilburnin. We've talked about him a lot this winter, Mike. Kind of undersized, underpowered, but he gets in there, able to handle the turns, able to run with the big boys.
Yeah, he is, but he's better on the tighter courses. We'll see underpowered on this big track in St. Louis. You got to wonder how he's going to be able to fare. And when his opponent here, Gunslinger,
he's not underpowered.
He's not underpowered at all. He is going to be ready to go, and as he likes to say, cock-locked or ready to rock.
You stole his line, Mike.
I know I stole his line.
Holdsbar, Florida, the home site for Scott Hartsock and the Gunslinger. Certainly a solid favorite in this race. Two-time winner here on Motor Madness this season, so he'd love to close it out with a finals victory in St. Louis, and he's off to a great start.
Yeah, it is Gunslinger all the way here through the first turn, taking a big, healthy lead over Cyborg. Again, Cyborg a little underpowered. Coming back through this final turn, and Gunslinger taking it very smooth. But Cyborg holding his own now. Cyborg made up some ground, but it's too much for Gunslinger. And Scott Hartsock on with the win.
Very solid run for Scott Hartsock and Gunslinger. But let's watch Jack Kilburnin and Cyborg. You tip your hat to this guy again. He doesn't have all of the power and the tools the others got, but what he does have is a truck that can get around turns, move quickly, and I'll tell you, Jack's a good driver. There he just keeps on going, kind of nudge the pole, but again, unless you really maul the pole, I don't think anybody's too offended here in the World Finals. As the guys told us, it's just minor infractions and major infractions that they're worried about, the difference there. And Cyborg comes through with a nice run. Kind of veered off at the end, but I think he was just trying to find some way to catch Gunslinger on that last lap, and it was too late.
Yeah, when he made that final turn, he glanced up and saw Gunslinger ahead of him, and there was a desperate move there on the last part. But Scott Hartsock knew he had to run smooth because he knew he had the horsepower. So maybe back down a little bit in those turns. That's what allowed Cyborg to be a little more even with him, but the horsepower just too much for Gunslinger.
Nice run from Scott Hartsock. He'll go to round two.
Now let's check in now with Dan Moriarty, who's got Scott with him.
Scott, one heck of a first round.
Yeah, it was. It's a little intimidating. You go out there, you got your first round to deal with, and you go out there, you not really know how the truck's going to hook. This clay up here, it's really unbelievable what it'll do. I mean, it wants to pull a wheelie off a line. In that case, it's going to want to carry the front wheels to the first set of cars and really pitch us, for a wild ride. We don't need that. We need to make ground speed to get around these corners because this is the World Finals. Pace Motorsports, Mega Power Car Care Products, Ford Gunslinger. We want to win this thing worse than anything that T&N Motorsports can come up with.
After you see the few rounds before you and two trucks go over, one loses the tire, snaps everything up front, the other one ends up on his hood, you're saying to yourself, what's next?
That's exactly right. That's why I said it's intimidating, but hey, we came in here, we got some big guns, and if I got to shoot somebody in the back to get around this course tonight, that's what I'm going to do.
Talk to you next round, baby.
All right, buddy.
It's a good idea. Mike Hogwood, Scott Douglas, and Dan Moriarty with you tonight in St. Louis World Finals. We continue with round one. Carolina Crusher and Bustin' Loose. Boy, Crusher'd love to win here tonight. Gary Porter had kind of a tough year, but that'd all be wiped away if he could get a couple of good runs.
And he's going to go up against another veteran, Ron Nelson, out of Conroe, Texas, in the Bustin' Loose Chevrolet. This has all the potential to be an outstanding race here in the first round, as the winner will move on to meet Gunslinger in round number 2.
And they're off, and pretty even off the start. Wow. Down through the first turn, though, it is Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher who has taken the advantage. It is Porter slowing down in the turn as Bustin' Loose. Really had a little trouble negotiating that turn. And we focus in on Carolina Crusher. It's going to be Crusher taking that turn. There you see Bustin' Loose a little bit behind. Gary Porter is going to win here in round one out of Waynesboro, North Carolina. Carolina Crusher a winner.
Crusher in a groove on that run. He absolutely ran it flawlessly. Bustin' Loose struggled, but watch, off the line, Nelson looked pretty good. Now he's getting kind of a little cockeyed. The truck got upset off that first turn, and then off that first jump. Then as he goes to the first turn, he kind of really lost power a little bit. He didn't have a lot of speed through the turn, and that's what really got him. He got up into that whoop section, some of those jumps over there for the other divisions that are running here today, and he kicked the back end of his truck up. He was done at that point.
And again, a strong run for Gary Porter. We'll ISO on it and take a look at it.
Plus, Gary got off the line so beautifully, and you don't see the upsetting of the truck that you noticed with Bustin' Loose. Crusher, and Gary has done this for years, one of the smoothest, most consistent runners on the Pace Motorsports circuit, and you can see right here, really just a flawless run, Mike.
It was flawless. There's the final turn. He took it perfectly out in front here, and he knew coming home that he had it.
First round, you win. Are the jitters gone?
I don't know. I hope so. I didn't run the truck 100% that round. The rear suspension's, hitting pretty hard. Then we're going to adjust it. Come back for this second round. We're going to have to run harder to take care of Gunslinger. But I think once we get our shocks dialed in, we'll be ready.
Well, you say they run that hard. I say come on the final run. Look like you shut it down a little bit because you knew you had a good lead.
Right. I'd seen them, coming around that corner. I knew I had a pretty good lead on them. And so I just let out of it and tried to save the truck. And, we're ready for the next round.
They got Gunslinger and Hardsock, your neighbor. How do you get psyched for that?
I'm just going to go out there and try to shoot him down instead of him shooting me down, I guess.
Talk to you later on, brother.
All right, thanks.
Good luck.
All right, Gary Porter with a big win there. It's Bulldozer pulling up on the far lane, going up against Equalizer.
Well, this is interesting. It was about 10 years ago that everybody in the monster truck world was getting shook up because a new kid on the block named David Morrison, the Equalizer, was shooting him down. Now, 10 years later, he's established. Tom Mintz has been around a little bit, but just now, he's become the new threat. And Bulldozer had that huge undefeated streak that Gravedigger snapped a week ago here on Motor Madness when he beat him in the finals in Nashville. Let's see if he can get back on the winning track against a solid Equalizer.
Bulldozer wants to get going again. Oh, Bulldozer gets some big-time air. Still maintains the lead as they come through the first turn. Equalizer, though, made a nice turn, but here comes Bulldozer. A lot of horsepower showing. We'll see what they do as they make the final turn. It's anybody's game right now, but it's going to be Bulldozer by about a truck length. Bulldozer and Tom Mintz, your winner.
Writing was on the wall for David Morris. Actually, David runs a pretty solid race right here. Doesn't get into trouble. Goes through the turns well, as we always expect from David Morrison, the Equalizer. I mean, he turns this beautifully. Comes around and he's in good shape. But what I mean is he knew he was in trouble. When he comes to the last turn and he looks and sees he's even with Bulldozer, I know David knew he was done because going over those last jumps, he just knew there was no way he was going to be able to outgun Bulldozer to the finish line. You'll see it here on this run.
And he cut that turn just a little short as well. Boy, some big-time air by Bulldozer over that first set of crushed cars, and he recovered nicely and then just puts that pedal to the metal and keeps going.
He is spectacular on the jumps. That's all you can say. When he comes, he hits them full throttle. And again, I think at this point, he knows he's got it. There's nobody going to beat him even up on the straight run.
Tom Mintz and Bulldozer, winner in round one.
One heck of a first-round run, brother.
Yeah, it was real good, smooth, kind of a little checkout pass. We're going to have to go a little faster than that if we're going to win, but we got a good one under our belt and let a little of the pressure off, and hopefully we'll be ready for the next go-around.
There is pressure, isn't there?
Yeah, a little bit. That first one, get a truck go down or two, and, it takes a little time. Get a little hot in there. It's hot down here. Everything seems good, though.
But a first-round win against Equalizer is a big first-round win.
Yeah, it is. He ain't no slouch by any means. He's a real good runner, real good turner, but we got him.
Great job. We'll see you next round.
Thanks a lot.
Here's the matchup everybody's been waiting for in this first round. Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol knows he has to win to keep Gravedigger from winning the title here.
Well, Paul Schaefer comes in as the only guy mathematically who can keep Gravedigger out of the TNN Motor Madness Pace Motorsports Championship for the season. He's so far ahead in points, but if Monster Patrol can put him down here and then win the event, Paul can still do it. Dennis Anderson, though, is on a mission, and that is to win this championship. And he was on a mission last week to get his flag back. We saw what happened. He got the flag back.
He's got the flag, that checkered flag you see on the back of the Gravedigger.
Again, that's significant of who won the last main event here on TNN Motor Madness.
What a season he's had. And Gravedigger over that first set of crushed cars is a little bit out in front. Monster Patrol trying to take the turn. Has to back out of it big time on the turn.
Yeah, he got big trouble in the turn. Wow.
Gravedigger now knows just got to run a smooth one and it's over. Monster Patrol recovered a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. Gravedigger and Dennis Anderson on to win here in round one, and Anderson wraps up the season champion.
You cannot make that kind of mistake that Paul made against this guy. Dennis Anderson is 100%. And I thought he kind of nose-dove it hard. It cost him a little bit of time on the straightaway, but it really didn't hurt him. And Dennis looks as good as ever right here. Smooth, running it hard, and boy, you can see it's just all Gravedigger. Comes through the turn again. Virtually no waver. You see a lot of guys slow, a lot of guys bobble. Dennis is smooth as silk.
First round's out of the way. How's the truck running?
Truck's running good. I already know what I'm in for tonight. That one ramp, the finish line ramp, I'm going to be nosing over hard. I sat in the truck for a little too long. My back's been bothering me. Kind of took the wind out of me that first little jump right there, and I've been jumping a lot harder than that all season. Told the guys if that thing keeps pinching my back up like that, I'm going to have to stop, I guess. But I'm out walking it off right now. I got Tom next round. So we're going to see what happens. I don't know if my back's going to give up or this truck's going to give up. We got to go for broke this next round. I got Bulldozer.
I mean, a Bulldozer Gravedigger quarterfinals?
Hey, that's just how it falls on the chart, baby. We got to do it.
That's like World Championship. This is going to be exciting.
Yeah, it could be.
You going to make it through it? You okay?
Yeah, I think I'll be all right. I just get out walking around a little bit. Kind of beat one of the trucks really hard last weekend in Seattle. I think I done a little back damage. Doesn't bother me to stand up. Sure does hurt to sit down, though.
We'll talk to you afterwards, man. Have a good time.
All right, thanks.
All right, Danny boy, we'll be with you down on the floor one more time. Going to be a great week next week, Scott.
He's assuming the elevators are still going to work. You know, I'm not taking the stairs. Oh, it is. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait to get it going, and you got to be here at TNN to see it all.
All right. For Dan Moriarty and Scott Douglas, I'm Mike Hogwood reminding you that we'll be with you Friday night on Motor Madness Monster Jam from St. Louis. See you then. So long, everybody. It's a good fish to be caught.
If he drives that boat like he drives the monster truck, they better look out in the Outer Banks.
Yeah, get off the ocean, eh? Well, here's Sampson and Dan Patrick. We talked about what a favorite, how strong he is. We talked last week about this, but he's going up against Barefoot, and that's not going to be any easy competition.
Probably ounce for ounce, pound for pound, the two trucks that make the most horsepower that are in this field when you're looking at Barefoot and you're looking at Sampson. So this ought to be a very even race, and it's going to come down again to which driver negotiates the turns and is able to square up for these long straightaways.
All right, and they're off, and it is Sampson out with the early lead. But we'll watch and see what they do in the turns. Sampson, nice job on the turn by Dan Patrick. And here comes Barefoot getting a little bit of air. We'll see as they make the final turn and head on. It is going to be Sampson Sampson with a strong run. Not surprising at all what Dan Patrick just did.
Very impressive run by Dan Patrick. We've told you how badly Dan wants to win here in St. Louis and come away as the champion of the TNN World Finals. This is just showing you a man who is focused on the mission at hand. Beautifully run. Look at how he stays square in his lane. He's not veering. He's not going back and forth between the obstacles. This is just a brilliant piece of monster truck driving from Dan Patrick and Sampson.
A lot of power in that truck.
Unreal. You had a great race. I mean, you really had the finals in your sight.
Yeah, I mean, we just had to maintain a nice even, you know, there was good trucks out there, but I got a break tonight, got a good bracket. And, but hey, we had a great year. I like to be consistent. Other than a few little setbacks like this, we would have been in the finals every race. And, hey, that's all counts. You
Dan
know?
Patrick, you are the most consistent guy on this entire series.
Well, you know, that's what I think it takes to have a winning combination. They say if you love what you do, you can be successful at it. And I truly love what I do. And we're going to take 6 weeks off. We're going to the dyno room. We're going to make more power, faster truck, and come back out this summer and just start thumping some kids again.
Well, you love what you're doing. Let me tell you, these fans and we love watching you. So thanks a lot for an incredible series.
Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next season.
You got it, Dan.
Bye.
So a tough break for Sampson, then broke a little bit.
That's what that's what right at the beginning of the interview, you got the indication that indeed something went away. We'll try to find out more about it, but indeed he's not going to be back. That means Barefoot will advance since Sampson is broke in defeating Barefoot. This was not a great run for Womack. You can see we talked about how smooth Dan was staying in his lanes. Womack was all over the place in this run, but hey, he'll be around for the semifinals.
Brian, you move on.
Yeah, it's not exactly the way we wanted to move on, but, you know, Sampson broke, unfortunately. Give us a chance to come back and see if we can redeem ourselves.
You know, Barefoot, with Todd, has had some unlucky breaks himself this series. Maybe you had it coming to you.
Yeah, I've been pretty lucky this whole year. You know, I haven't really torn nothing up, but things like that happen. You know, I kind of messed up in the racing, so maybe I can come back and straighten it out again.
Maybe it's the hometown crowd.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with it.
Good luck in the semis.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Brian Womack will get another shot at it. There is Robbie Gray, pilot of Mountaineer, who we haven't seen this year, but who advanced on in round 1. We'll see what he can do here against Reptoid.
Reptoid and Jim Jack has been another runner that we've seen consistently on TNN. Mountaineer, as Mike just mentioned, is our first look at him. But when we saw Mountaineer last week, very impressive. He did get a break, obviously, with his opponent flipping, but I thought the truck looked pretty good. Still, Jim Jack has been up and down the road. He knows how to run these U.S. hot rod courses. He's run a lot of them. I would think Reptoid's got an advantage. See if Robbie Gray can pull off an upset.
Well, you saw Jim Jack sitting in the center of that cockpit and over the first set of crushed cars, dead even. Down to that first turn. Robbie Gray makes it pretty smooth. He's in the far lane in Mountaineer. That is Reptoid. They love the look of the front of that truck. Here's the final turn. We will see how the horsepower shakes out as they try to come here to the start-finish. It is going to be Reptoid by feet, not too much. But Reptoid, Jim Jack goes on to win.
Not surprised that was a tight finish. You could expect that from the get-go. And I'll tell you, Robbie Gray's Mountaineer Ford is a truck to watch as the years go on here in monster truck racing. Again, a new name to us, but he's got some experience, and he shows it here. He runs strong. Got a little bounce there. He kind of hit into the mogul section there and got the front end of the truck, got knocked up in the air. That cost him a little bit of time. And, you know, when you go back and analyze the race and you see how close it was to the finish, that really probably cost him the race.
Indeed, here's Reptoid, Jim Jack. Very good start. Both trucks got off to a great start in this run. Not too much air of that first set of crushed cars. Able to get down, negotiate the turn, and then hammer it on down for what is a really long stretch here. You can hear them burping the throttle just a little bit, trying to maximize the speed. And Reptoid on to win. I went to that website last week. Kind of interesting.
That's a great website. Oh,
yeah.
It's awesome. Awesome.
All right, we're set now.
Speaking of awesome.
Gunslinger, Carolina Crusher, 2 trucks with a lot of power.
You know, we've gotten to all the exotic trucks and the bulldozer and these great designs. There's still nothing to a lot of the folks in the crowd, and I know as a commentator, like Ford and Chevrolet and two powerhouses squaring off. And here you got it, the Carolina Crusher Chevrolet and Gary Porter and Scott Hartsock and that Floridian, the Gunslinger Ford. Here we go.
And, hey, it's a great start for Hartsock. Ooh, wow. Porter's got some ground to make up in Carolina Crusher. He's on the near lane. That's a look at him now. He knows he has really got to go. Gunslinger, Scott Hartsock, makes that final turn out in front. Oh, there's a problem with Carolina Crusher. Gunslinger wins. Crusher had some trouble making that last turn.
Here you go and look at Gary Porter, and it's not very often that Gary gets beat off the line. But I got to tell you the truth, Scott Hartsock drilled him out of the hole, so he's already trying to make up ground. Now, Gary made up a little ground here on the straightaway, I thought, as he really got himself into decent shape on the final turn. But again, when you take the turn and look and you see you're in trouble already, you just got to let it all hang out. So he got a little out of shape, but frankly, he was beat at that point anyway. Hartsock was brilliant.
He really was. Great run, showed his horsepower, and really showed a lot of cool and calm in making those turns. But Scott, we've gotten a note up here in the booth. Something's going on with Gunslinger.
And we don't know exactly what it is. You know, I was wondering coming in if we weren't going to see a little more breakage than normal because of just the sheer distance and the difficulty of this course. And the word is that despite the victory, Hartsock has got problems. He'll not be back. Crusher will be back in the next round despite losing. Now look at this matchup. Remember, it was a blind draw. This could have been the world final match. We're going to see it here in the second round.
Wow, Dennis Anderson, you know he's got the championship, but he really wants to win here in St. Louis. You can see that in his eyes. He talked about the problems that he's having with his back. We certainly hope that he's feeling okay because it really does shake you around a little bit, especially on this course. You see the checkered flag on the back? He's got that for winning the race a week ago, but the flag used to belong to that man, Bulldozer. And Tom Mintz, and Bulldozer gets a lot of air, as he usually does, around that turn. Here it's Gravedigger.
They're even. They're dead even.
They are dead even. We will see how they negotiate this final turn. Digger does it very, very smooth, but so does Tom Mintz. He's got some horsepower. Let's see.
Oh, my.
That's too close to
Who
call.
won?
That is all. Oh, my.
We're going to get it on the ISO, Mike. I got to tell you, this is now the rivalry in monster truck racing. The superstar for years, the icon of the sport, Dennis Anderson. He kind of got himself slapped around a little bit here a few weeks ago on Motor Madness when Tom Mintz came in and dominated. It's meant a lot to Anderson to come back and beat him. And I'll tell you, he goes all out against this guy. What a race.
And we hear Dennis Anderson has been declared the winner.
That was the most incredible race I think we've seen all season.
I know it. It was in the second round. I couldn't believe it was being Tom. We kind of had a little heated discussion back here in the pit. Tom felt like they got robbed, or Tom's dad did. Said they robbed him and they gave it to Gravedigger. I told him I wanted to see a replay. They said he didn't hit the cars, didn't do something right. But I don't want him to give me a darn thing, especially here in the finals. Because right now I'm kind of ticked off, but I could care less. I'm going to win the championship anyway. I don't care how bad they cry. But I daggone sure don't want to take nothing from nobody and them hand it to me, and I don't want these guys in the pits to think that. All they're doing is pointing their fingers at me right now. My temperature's up a little bit, and I'm a little ticked off. Normally I don't get ticked off, but I ain't liking it right now.
Keep the attitude and go win some more.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dennis.
Okay, so Bulldozer not happy. And actually in that replay, it showed like he might have finished a little bit ahead of Dennis Anderson, but the story is he got some points of infractions here by not coming over these crush cars.
Well, that's exactly what the replay is going to show you, and that's he did not get both the front wheels over the obstacle. And again, it's not a DQ, but it is a time penalty right there. That's where he lost it.
That's what hurt him.
One of the closest races we've seen all season for a quarterfinal match.
Yeah, I tell you what, they're saying I didn't hit the cars, both front tires. It looked awful close to me. You know, it was a tough race. It's probably going to be the best race of the night. It's too bad we come out on the wrong end.
And what do you think about that? I mean, you felt you hit both? Could you feel them underneath your tires?
I felt I do. How do you get air? If you watch a video, how do you get air with the left side of the truck if you didn't hit the ram?
And then as far as the finish is concerned, you guys were an inch apart.
Yeah, I know. It looked to me like I won on the video. And it definitely looked to me like I hit him with both front tires. I didn't hit him with much of the left side. But, you know, he's a great competitor, and I lost to one of the best. And we'll get him next time.
The world of monster trucks has a little controversy once in a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does.
Mike Hogwood, Scott Douglas, and Dan Moriarty down to the semifinals in monster truck action. There's Carolina Crusher. And the Crusher and Gary Porter have their work cut out going against Gravedigger. And for years, these two have been old rivals. They know each other very, very well. Both hail from North Carolina. And it is going to be some showdown.
You know, Gary Porter is here because he keeps his truck together and he is consistent. Remember, Gunslinger beat him in the quarterfinals, but Gunslinger's broke. Gary Porter able to make the call. He's done that for years. Not only is he a great racer, he keeps his equipment together. Now, though, he knows he's got to go full out to beat Gravedigger.
And let's remember that Dennis Anderson has had a little problem with his back as he points that nose down over that first jump. He said, you know, that's a problem. It almost knocks the wind out of it. So we'll see what happens and how it affects him as now they come around and take this final turn. Digger. Oh, my! Gravedigger!
What a piece of driving. What an incredible save that was, Mike.
Crusher's going to win. Digger could not get around that turn, but really did a great job of saving this truck from going over. You really see the talent of one Dennis Anderson when you watch after this straightaway making that final turn. I don't see how he kept it from going.
And it also shows you how focused he is because, you remember, he's been very upset after what happened to the controversy after the bulldozer thing. To make that move, that was an amazing drive.
Wow.
One hell of a ride.
I say one heck of a save is what I'd say. Yeah, I guess I flew into that turn there, and I think I was pushing a little harder than I really should have. Kind of got up off the throttle, kind of like Indy, but it's a little faster motion. Flipped it up on its side. I had a Detroit locker in the rear this time so I could drive out. But a lot of times you drive out, I save the truck, because I definitely would have turned over if I tried to keep, make that turn. Drove out, saved the truck, but lost the race. You can't win them all.
You can't win them all, but you lost to a fellow Carolina boy.
Hey, that's right, man. If I'm going to lose, I'd love to lose to another Carolina boy, no doubt about that. Right here in St. Louis, Missouri. This is where Barefoot's from, Monster Patrol. Bulldozer, Barefoot, and Bigfoot's around here, but he's not here tonight. But this is their stomping grounds.
I mean, if you're going to lose a race, that's a way to lose a race.
That's right, losing style.
Isn't that you, Dennis?
That's it, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dennis.
Wow, what a save by Dennis Anderson. And how about Gary Porter, who has just hung tough, stayed consistent, and now finds himself in the finals of the World Championship.
Well, you've got to be lucky and good at this sport. We already know Gary's good. A little bit of luck has gone his way tonight. And indeed, he comes around just running his smart, conservative race. He was very much in it. They were close when Dennis started to go over and had to save the truck. Gary Porter is in the finals.
Gary, no matter what they say, it's the finals.
Yeah, it sure is. I guess I got that big old rabbit's foot with me tonight. Gunslinger, he beat me in the quarterfinals there and had some breakage and couldn't come back. And then Dennis, I was sort of eyeing on him. I knew if it was just flat out running, he'd probably beat me to that end down there. And I was like, but he might get down there and just mess up. And so I was just sort of riding out there. I was watching him in that turn to see what he done. And when I, seen that he had messed up, I just took advantage of it and come on across the finish line.
Congratulations to Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher. Now, our next semifinal, Reptoid Jim Jack, who many would say might be a little bit surprised to be here, to be this far, but he has earned his spot, and he'll be facing Barefoot. Barefoot didn't beat Samson, but Samson broke, so Barefoot is here. It's Barefoot and Reptoid.
It's the same situation. Carolina Crusher taking advantage of being able to keep his truck together and the problems for the Gunslinger, then for the Gravedigger. Barefoot, same situation. Samson not able to make the call for the semifinals. Brian Womack gets an opportunity at redemption. If he can knock off Reptoid, he'll go to the finals.
Brian Womack, the native of St. Louis, makes that first turn with ease. He's got a lot of horsepower under that hood. Womack looking awfully strong, making the final turn here. Womack is way out in front. Reptoid had to slow down a little bit on that turn, and it's going to be Barefoot. Brian Womack making it to the finals.
This is not to beat a dead horse here, because I've said it before, but I got to say it again. If you're going to beat Barefoot, do not let him have the lead coming off the final turn because he is just going to out-hammer you. Reptoid was behind at that point, and he was done. Jim Jack having a good run right here. Again, didn't get himself in any trouble, but, you know, on the straightaways, just didn't have the power to keep up with Barefoot. And again, when you're looking at Barefoot in that position, when you make that turn and you square up and you see the side of his truck, it's over. And it was over for Reptoid.
Let's look at Barefoot's run, and what a job Brian Womack has done. His first run was a little shaky. He didn't quite make the turns all that smoothly, but this is a much, much different run on this course. Every turn was nailed. And as we talked about the horsepower, when he made this turn right here, watch him get back on this throttle. It is over with. Over with. Brian Womack in the finals in Barefoot.
All right, Brian, look at that.
Yeah, I like it. You know, I just got done racing Jim Jack. He's a hard guy to win against, you know, but I don't know if he bobbled out there a little bit, but I got the lead on him, and we kept it.
I got to tell you, it looked like the strongest race Barefoot had this evening.
Yeah, I like that lane. It was real smooth. You know, I think I just got a little intimidated racing Sampson last time and just kind of messed the corner up a little bit and kind of straightened it out this time.
I'm telling you, that hometown crowd thing is really working for you, Brian.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait to go to the finals and race the quarter, you know, but he's hard to beat, too. Hopefully I can get it done.
Yeah, you got to call Todd, too, and say, Todd, I'm in the finals, man.
Yeah, you bet I'm going to do it as soon as I get home.
Yes, folks, we are down to it. Brian Womack and Barefoot in the finals against Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher. Scott, I think this is going to be a good showdown here.
Absolutely. And you know, it's not a break unless you can take advantage of it. Both trucks were beaten in earlier rounds, but they were able to keep their equipment together. And because the trucks that knocked them off couldn't come back, they have now both earned their way into the finals. And you've got two of the most storied truck teams in history, the Carolina Crusher team and the Barefoot team. One of them is coming out of the TNN World Finals in St. Louis with the big trophy held high. Even though Dennis Anderson's the point champion, everybody came here wanting to win. One of these two guys is the man tonight.
Well, both trucks are staged now, and the start is very, very important for both of these guys.
Again, Gary didn't want to be in that last turn looking at Barefoot like we just talked about.
And it was Barefoot who got out to a pretty good start. Both trucks make their turn fairly smooth. Barefoot looking awfully strong, though. The start went to Barefoot, and that is always tough to overcome. Final turn, looks like it's Barefoot out in front just a bit. Gary Porter's trying, but he can't catch him. Barefoot wins the World Championships here in St. Louis, and the hometown guy, Brian Womack, a great win.
What a great story, and Brian Womack is the happiest guy in the state of Missouri right now. Looking at the ISO, Gary Porter again did nothing wrong. Had a solid run, an excellent run, made no big mistakes. But again, I felt like he had to get into that final turn with at least a truck length advantage if he was going to beat Barefoot. He was not in an advantage situation. They were basically even, and Barefoot put him away on the final jump. Good run, though, by Porter.
Yeah, it was a great run, and certainly I think this has to give him a little encouragement after what has been kind of a tough season for Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher. Now, here is Barefoot. Brian Womack got off to the great start. His turn was really smooth. You get a sense of the horsepower under the hood of that truck.
Talk about a guy redeeming himself. I'll tell you what, he had an awful run against Sampson, but he got over it, came back, and that was beautiful in the final round. He's the champion tonight.
Brian Womack.
Brian, come on. You did not expect this. This is incredible.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Racing Gary Porter, I got so much respect for that guy. He's one of the best in the business. Getting it pulled off on his turning course like that, it's a great job. I can't believe I did it.
But I go back to the same thing I said to you before. It's the hometown crowd. There's more pressure there, but there's more cheering, more energy behind you. It worked tonight.
Oh, I'll tell you what, these people have me so pumped up. It's not even funny. I mean, I'm so nervous right now. I'd rather do it again, you know. But the crowd is great. Doing it in our hometown, winning like this is the biggest show Pace ever put on to 16 trucks. It's awesome.
Well, the board behind you doesn't say that you won St. Louis, but this says right here, TNN Motor Madness Monster Truck Champion. That's for 1999. That's a long season.
Hey, man, it has been a long season. I'd just like to thank Pace Motorsports, TNN, the TV crew. They've been right here with me, keeping everybody updated, all my fans, what's going on. Hey, it's been a tough season. I'd like to thank my crew guys, Josh and Cliff. Those guys, man, they've wrenched all winter long on this truck. We pulled the championship off. I didn't win here, but I didn't have to win here. I already had it wrapped up once I won that first round, and we knew we were in there. And this isn't all we get. We get some money back there somewhere, too. I guarantee that.
You talk about all these people
that are behind you the entire way. For an entire season, though, how do you keep yourself motivated to go to every single race?
Hey, it's my fans. My fans keep me motivated, and plus the point series. You know, when you put points on something, we don't care if we're just out there racing for a belt buckle. I'm out there to win regardless. It don't make any difference. We're always there to win. The races are never fixed. A lot of people will say, hey, was that race fixed? No way, Jack. If they fixed it, they didn't fix it with me riding in there. You can believe that, because I'm there to win every round, every time, if I can do it.
Can you do it again next year? Are you coming back?
Sure, man. I think I'll be back stronger and better than ever. We hope we are anyway. We're going to give it the best shot. You can believe that.
So we'll see you again next season, brother.
All right, man. Hey, I've had a heck of a time. Thank you, guys.